Woo! We're live. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone around the world. We're back again with another D&D Forgotten Realms episode with the Protectors. Man, so much has happened. Does anybody wish to do a recap that doesn't involve, weeping and gnashing of teeth?
I don't even want to.
Nope.
Nope.
No.
Not really. Not really. Don't want to do it.
I'm bailing out of that one.
All right. So, just in general, who wants to do the recap?
I really don't.
I'll give it a shot.
Okay. Thank you.
Ho, ho, ho.
Okay,
Very
Santa.
protectorsmas. And so, in the last couple of sessions, a great deal of things, many things have happened. Silverymoon has discovered that it was under siege and that Lady Illustriol had been killed, and protectors made their way there with help from anybody want to give me the lady's name?
Elspeth?
No.
Oh, yeah.
Beryl.
Beryl.
Councilwoman Beryl.
I was thinking Allura, and I was like, that's not right. I've been watching too much Critical Role.
But Beryl teleported us to the outskirts. We, under the suggestion of Dawn, we teleported to one of the Githyanki siege ships that was flying over town, and proceeded to hand Marissa her own ass and slaughter a slew of Githyankis, while Dawn teleported to another ship that was about to crash into the city and managed to divert its trajectory. The rebels, or resistance of Silverymoon, managed to take control of another ship. After Dawn's return to the that Marissa was on, she was promptly knocked off the ship again by a blast from Marissa, at which point Dawn leapt over, or Beatle leapt over the side to save her friend. Shortly thereafter, Velas leaped over the side to try to make sure they were both okay. Upon moments, just nanoseconds before smashing into the earth, Velas was able to give a healing word to Dawn, upon which she then polymorphed into a T-Rex, smashing about 150 unsuspecting people chained together. Okay, maybe it was only 30. Leaving only one small child alive, traumatized and crying.
Defecating themselves.
It was a mercy.
That poor kid.
After reaching the
He's the next campaign's villain, by the way.
We'll split the difference and call him an anti-hero.
Okay.
After plummeting to the earth and finding solace inside of an abandoned building, they managed to bundle the child off to the seat of the resistance, whereon Dawn and Velas and Beetle were asked to help break what was the fellow's name?
Tyrann Hornblade.
Tyrann Hornblade out of a Githyanki holding jail, and they succeeded in doing this while the terrible trio were doing that. The other terrible trio in the sky were finishing off the last of the Githyankis on the airship, and with the help of Ukon and any help with the wizard's name?
Ross, I think.
Ross Goddard.
Ross Goddard and
Darren Shieldbash.
Darren, yep,
Yeah.
Darren Shieldbash. At which point, Ross Goddard received a message from members of the Resistance saying that the ship that you were currently on needed to be above the jail that was holding Tyrann Stormblade to land, because as soon as Tyrann Stormblade was released, they would take over that prison and provide a safe LZ, as it were. And is that where we stopped after we all met back up? Oh, we went back up to the ship, painted a new name on the ship, while Dawn and Beetle were otherwise occupied. They sadly did not have any say in the name of the ship.
The Silver Lining.
The Silver Lining, and which was quite fun in itself. The mischievous boys of the group were doing their thing, and the responsible young ladies were
off disarming traps and doing all the things.
Being kept completely unaware of the horrible things that might have been painted on the side of the ship until the Silver Lining was finally decided upon.
Yep. And that was when, about that time, Dawn decides to, shortly thereafter, try to figure out how to drive the airship, taking a loop around the city, apparently, before returning back over to the hover over the city jail.
It was a time trial.
Yeah. It was about, right now the airship is about 20 to 30 feet, just kind of hovering over the city jail. Banner and Beetle both are in heaven, as Banner discovered the mess, the kitchen, and Beetle, actually I guess it would be called the canteen. Anyway, Beetle discovered a rudimentary workshop, and along with repair parts for the airship, and also took inventory of the airship, basically finding close to 400 fire barrels, I think it was.
250.
250. But we can have 400 if you want.
250 is fine. 250 sounds great. And about the same amount in ballista bolts. They also, apparently, Banner had been hard at work in the kitchen. And then shortly after a tasting, Banner, Beetle joined the rest of you, taking a long rest in the airship. Which brings us to the next morning. None of you have really been able to sleep very well, as all throughout the night you continue to hear the clash of arms and various detonations and explosions, and the sound of spells being cast, and as you awake the next morning, fully rested but not but still tired, if you know what I mean, from kind of tossing and turning all night. Mechanically, of course, you get all your resources back, spell slots, HPs, all that stuff. And as you all make your way back up to the top deck and look out across the city, you see that the city jail is now a lot more fortified than it was, having long barricades up that with sharpened stakes and things like that up. You see several guards there at the front, and you notice that there are other guards that are standing on the balconies, one of which, Dawn, you teleported or dimension doored up to yesterday. Sorry. The last few sessions were kind of time-wise confusing. But you see a couple of guards up on each of the balconies with crossbows, I mean. And along the balcony to the left, the same one that you dimension doored up to, Dawn, you see Elspeth kind of standing there, in her armor, kind of surveying her surroundings. She catches sight of you all and kind of looks thoughtful for a moment and heads back inside. Shortly thereafter, you see a crow fly out from the door that remains open. Beetle, you recognize this crow as Ross Goddard's familiar. As he flies up to you and lands on your shoulder without any ado, and just kind of pecks at your head.
All right, I get it. He wants to talk to us. Okay.
And the crow just kind of hops up on your head and then like looks down, and you see it like right in front of your head upside down as it's staring at you, and it cocks its head, and then it goes ah! And then it just leaps and flies off.
Okay, I was about to tell Cog to scare the shit out of him, so good.
And you do know that Ross Goddard's familiar is particularly irascible. So, what are the rest of you doing?
I find Aromathos and cast Mage Armor on him.
Mathos?
Velas.
That.
I find Velas.
Crossing the streams.
I didn't even notice. I was like, all right. I was like,
You
did
said
she-
Aromathos during the mini session twice, TJ.
I did? Oh my gosh.
The worlds are blending together.
Uh-huh.
And then I will cast it on myself.
First
Like
thing in the
him-
morning, Beamer? Oh, sorry, Jeff.
I was just gonna say, like him sitting up on the deck of the ship and just almost. Actually, he's probably sitting on the railing of the deck, on the edge, just looking down, watching, keeping an eye on what's going down below. Kind of just.
Yeah, you see that the city jail is really looking solid. You're actually a little impressed, perhaps. You can see through the windows on the second story, and you see a lot of resistance fighters in there. You see, as you're watching, a wagon trundle up, and it's like chock full of supplies. You suspect that they're beginning to move supplies out of their sewer base and moving it here. They fully intend to take the city back.
Do I see from up above where like the line of the resistance is meeting the opposing, like the opponents? I guess.
Yes and no. All throughout the city, fires burn. All throughout the city, you hear the scattered reports of clashes and of arms and the scream of men and gith. The difficulty, of course, is maybe not so much you like them would know, but people like Banner and Velas and Beetle would know, is that urban fighting is very much house to house, street to street, and it's really messy. And the battle lines are very tenuous. They're not clearly defined. So just looking at the various fires and things that are going on, you get the feeling that the resistance is showing much more dominance in the northern part of the cities across the river. Ironically, you in the city jail are in the southern part of the city, and you see, as a result, you can only surmise that they're kind of getting this critical mass of men and supplies together so that they can work on perhaps retaking the southern part of the city.
All right. After I've kind of taken that in, did I see the crow, Ross's crow, come in?
Oh yeah, everybody did.
All right.
It wasn't hiding or anything.
I'm going to change into the crow that looks just like it and go fly in and probably land on Beetle's shoulder.
Enough, Squawk.
And I'm just gonna pester her and just like keep fluttering around and just like pestering her for the next little bit.
I telepathically thinking this is still. I'm naming him Squawk since he doesn't have a something Ross would name his
that
familiar.
is his name.
See, I'm telling Cog telepathically to because he's super stealthy to like sneak over and then swoop down and like graze, not hurt, but like just like graze and scare the crap out of what I think to be Squawk, which it probably won't work because Lycum has a past perception of the gods.
Of 22 now because of leveling and something kicking in. Yeah.
Okay. Hey.
Hey, Andrew.
Yeah, go ahead and you literally see Cog coming from a mile away as he begins to swoop down towards you, claws first in a very familiar predatory dive.
As I see him do that, I slowly line up so that as I go to duck, he goes flying straight into Beetle.
Beetle grinning like you think you're about ready to get away with something. All of a sudden you have this solid impact on the back of your head and you kind of lurch forward. You hear a very upset Cog going, "Roar!" and you've never heard him quite squawk like that. I mean, that's very un-Cog-like or even un-Owl-like. But nevertheless, with a puff of feathers and a solid thump, he lands on the deck of the ship and kind of hobbles to his feet.
I fly back out to the deck, change into my elf form, and walk back in.
All right.
Hi.
Banner, what are you doing?
What's up?
Andrew, I think you need to mute yourself.
What's up?
Andrew.
Anyway, Banner is actually probably, I don't know if he's the only one not on the deck, but he hasn't come out of his room yet.
Oh, okay. Yeah, everyone else looks around, no Banner.
I'm just gonna look at Velas and say, you know, you could invest in some armor at some point. It wouldn't kill you.
But I guess I could look at some leather armor. Some of that looks quite fabulous. But the chainmail and stuff, they're just so constricting and binding.
It says Don, who's never worn any armor in her life.
Of course, as long as you're willing to, don't mind spending a little bit of moment to do this mage armor thing. It's fabulous. It's just, I might have to learn it one of these days.
Suit yourself. It's quite useful.
Yes, I might. The armor or the mage armor?
The mage armor. I don't like armor either.
Yeah, I agree. It's quite useful. Spectacular.
I would teach you if I knew how it worked.
I'm certain that you would. I would learn happily. But
just between you and me, I think you'd be better off learning on your own.
Yeah. Well, there is the not so. If I learned from you, I do wonder if I would sprout a green feather beard as well.
It's blue, actually, but
blue.
Maybe yours would be green.
Could be, but so
where's Banner? I asked to the group at large.
I don't know. I do worry about my friends from the college. All right. Well, we need to find Banner and then figure out what to do about getting rid of these Githyanki so we can make sure everyone else is alive and well in this city.
Agreed.
Banner, about this time, comes up on the ship. And what you notice is that he's always maintained his equipment, but his armor shines with like a sheen that you didn't know it had. that he was clearly up at like the crack of dawn cleaning it, and cleaning off the previous day's gore in an uncharacteristic fashion. And in fact, it now also features the tuft of white fur that was on his dress armor in the Feywild is now on his regular armor.
Well, that's new.
He nods.
Fancy Pants Junior, huh?
You look spectacular. It really brings out the blue in your eyes.
My
Green.
eyes are brown, but thank you, Velis.
Are you certain? As he presses his eyes blue.
Don't you make my eyes blue. I know what you can do.
Like him, Druid crafts some dirt, floats it towards you, but then chuckles and throws it back down on the ground.
All right, everyone, there's enough to see here. We can. What's going on?
Was that an eye joke? Because if it was terrible.
Did I miss anything?
Not this morning.
No, I've just been out on the deck. It looks like the resistance is holding the southern side of the city fairly well, but the northern side is definitely still under Githyanki control for the most part.
Vice versa.
Vice versa.
We should probably go down and see what the situation is more in depth. Maybe.
Agreed.
I have a hunch that the people in charge down there will have one or more tasks that they wish us to complete for them.
Yeah. Judging by how much Ross's familiar has been pestering me this morning, I imagine he's quite a fine fettle himself.
Like I'm still a bird.
Nope, I went back up to deck and then came back down and came out for him.
Beetle has no idea that was like it.
And like it has a straight face the whole time.
I climb down to the
All right.
ground. I just start going.
I rappel down as well.
All right.
I try and beat Banner to the ground.
I don't really care, and so I guess you do.
I jump and become a goldfish.
Yeah.
Goldfish.
No, you don't.
No. Okay. So you all climb down the cargo netting to the 30 feet to the ground, and head on inside the city jail. As you do so, you see a bunch of crates and stuff right on the ground floor. Bolts, barrels of bolts and arrows and spare bits of armor and all the like grain, food, some dried jerky, all the stuff that supplies an army. As you kind of walk past, there's a hustle and bustle. People, soldiers, resistance fighters going to and fro, some of them unloading a wagon that's sitting in front of the city jail. Others are kind of lounging and trying to sleep. Still others are in a makeshift triage area to the right in the right wing. Some of them are showing some fairly deep lacerations, and others are just kind of moaning in pain. You head upstairs where, Dawn, you know the cells are, and you see all of the cell doors are open and empty of prisoners, and instead they house yet more resistance fighters. You see a couple of, except for one cell, you notice that almost all of the prisoners, and there weren't very many, but almost all of the prisoners have been shoved into that cell and just kind of manacled to the wall. Kind of stuffed in there to deal with later type deal. But you look in, and even though they are uncomfortable, they are not being poorly treated. they are just being treated for what they are, prisoners. Though you do see...
What do they look?
Are these
What
prisoners?
are the manner of these prisoners? What
Yeah.
race and
Well, you do see
gender are they?
You see a high elf there. You see a couple of humans, and you do see one very rough-looking gith, just kind of hanging by one manacle, literally hanging by one manacle, as his manacle was roughly and somehow bolted to the ceiling, and he's actually the manacle is so high that he's being forced to his tippy toes. Perhaps some form of interrogation technique. What do you do?
Does Beetle recognize anybody in this cell, like any of the criminals?
Do we have to hold up Beetle so she can see through the little slit that's at like humanoid head height?
No, I'm gonna say no, not really. The high elf in there is the only one that you might have known, and that's what makes you kind of make a double take. But because at first you thought he was another high elf merchant that you originally met in Everlund, whose name was Nimison, if you remember, a jeweler. That he wasn't dishonest in his business practices, but he always struck you as someone that you thought if you could get away with something, he would. But then you realize it was not him at all. Though you swear it could have been his brother.
I just keep walking.
I move on.
I kind of give them another look because it seems to me a waste of manpower to have prisoners that are not prisoners of war.
Dawn assumes they're locked up for a good reason.
Banner has no patience for the wicked.
Beetle will just kind of give them an appraising look and see if anybody looks useful enough to argue for.
Dawn thinks they should count themselves lucky that Dawn just didn't throw a lightning bolt through the door.
Perception?
Yeah.
Me.
The two humans, though they are kind of dirty and look a little rough bitten, look like they might be able to handle themselves. Like they might have been a part of the local crime scene, so to speak.
Okay.
But it's hard to say. They don't look like they're starving, but they do look pale, like they haven't seen the sun in a while.
Okay.
So.
Come on, Beatles. If those people were so easily captured, well, they wouldn't be of any use to us.
Hey, I know a lot of people who've been thrown in the pokey for a day or two. Hell, I've narrowly escaped that a few times. Just seems an awful waste of manpower having people in there instead of helping us. But I kind of shrug and follow you.
All right.
Technically, I could help with that. I've been known to take out a few people at one time.
Emeraldi wants to try to offer his medical services and healing to any of the resistance fighters.
Sure. You're able to find someone that seems to be doing a fair amount of triage, and as you make your offer, she says, "Well, do you have any bandages? I mean," she looks down this long hall, and you see probably 60 or 70 individuals that are all in various states of injury. Some of them grievously so. And you realize that even with your abilities, you would be hard pressed to even help a third of these. She says, "Well, if you can help with supplies is what we need the most. I do have some small healing ability of my own, but I did not expect such a steady stream of. Well, it's been all night."
What part of the city could we look into for more bandage supplies or cloth to cut, or you need bandages? What else or other supplies do you need?
Are there any supply depots around the city?
Well, there may be some supplies at the gates, the northeast gate, but I'm sorry, northwest gate. But as far as I know, the resistance hasn't tried to retake any of the gate houses or the walls yet. They're infested with undead, and well, it's been difficult. But I'm sure that.
How about food supplies besides just bandages and, herbal unguents, etc.?
Well, I'm just a cleric. I really. You would have to talk to Elspeth the Red about that, and she would be able to help. Her and Ross Goddard, and of course Taryn Hornblade now. Thank the gods he is back.
Any of these lot that are injured, really high-ranking soldiers or highly experienced veterans that really need to get back out there and keep fighting. With Marinar's blessing, I may be able to help some of them at least get back to the front lines right away.
And with Nature's Emeraldy, I can help. I will assist in whatever way you direct.
Oh, of course.
Well, there is let me think here. I believe Sergeant Voss. Yes, he came in last night. He had a spear through his gut. I was able to extract the spear without killing him, thank the gods. But I was out of my ability to heal. I have none. I haven't had a rest in so long. But if you wish to look at him, he is running a very high fever and is now probably hallucinating. He's been mumbling some things about his childhood and mama and his death. It doesn't.
I'm sorry, can you say that again? I was hearing rapping noises.
Yeah, it's
No, do you mind muting? You're really loud.
Sergeant Voss, the fourth cot down. And
Like him, let's go check this man out. Maybe he could gather with us so we can recover some supplies for the injured. Keep the fighting going.
Like him nods, follows.
While they're doing this, can I ask, are there any children among those that are severely injured, or is it mostly warriors and that sort of thing?
Yeah, well, on the second level where all the cells are, there is an open cell where you see all the children. Beetle, you recognize Beetle and Dawn, both in Velis, all recognize a certain young boy, as he seems to be oblivious to the goings on, and playing with a few of the other children. And of course you see this gray-haired, motherly-looking woman that, again, Beetle, Dawn, and Velis would recognize as the woman who had charge over the children in the sewer base.
They're not severely wounded, though? They're just hanging out there?
No, they've been well cared for.
Okay.
Well as they could be.
Right. Okay.
How's our shell-shocked young friend looking?
A lot better.
Okay.
He seems to be interacting with the kids. He seems to have been cleaned up, thankfully.
Okay.
His clothes still look quite soiled, but not by stress,
Yeah.
so to speak. It's just been from the lack of clean water in the area. One of the first things to go during the siege, unfortunately.
I walk up to, having just been struck with some inspiration, Don walks up to the woman who Emeraldi had been talking to about bandages.
Uh-huh.
I say, so I imagine at this point you have a lot of discarded, soiled, and bloody bandages?
Great idea.
Used ones?
She just looks over in the corner, and you see like a 4-foot pile of bandages that are like caked and soaked in various states of blood.
Great
and
idea.
pus and
I'm going to spend the next 10 minutes using prestidigitation to clean each of them individually.
I have a feeling you've got
Very
prestidigitation
cool.
too, right?
Yeah.
Julia?
Yeah. In fact, I can set.
Dawn is going to be very solemn while doing it. She's not telling anyone else she's doing this. If I went back over there, but if someone walks by, they'll see me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And to be clear, the cleric and the injured are on the first floor. So Beetle and the rest are on the second floor.
Yeah, I come down and I do this until
Emeraldi, Lycum,
either someone comes and finds me or I run out of bandages.
Okay.
Yeah, it takes you about 10 minutes as you concentrate, and you find that you're actually able to almost kind of split your focus and kind of like use both hands now that you just kind of and it goes quicker after the first 5 minutes, and at the end of 10 minutes you are looking at a very clean pile of bandages, and fresh smelling too.
And while she's doing that, Velis was going to go down and start. It was going to offer his services to press and digitize the bedding and stuff where people have been laying there bleeding into their beds and stuff like that.
All right. Yeah, you can do that. And matter of fact is now 4 of you are in this triage wing. You see this, and you realize that she is a young woman. She's not a very she's might be in her mid-20s, and she's just wearing normal workman's clothes. But you do see the holy symbol in the form of an amulet of Lathander around her neck, and as she sees you all doing all these things, you actually see a tear just kind of slide down her face, and she goes, "Thank you."
Once I'm done, I'm just going to walk by her. Take good care of them. I give her a nod and I leave.
While I'm doing the cleaning up the beds and stuff, I'm going to go ahead and just kind of hum a light, slightly jaunty tune and do a song of rest for everybody in there.
Okay. And matter of fact, as you do so, you see one of the old timers, and he is an old timer. Kind of brings out, starts gathering a couple of buckets and a couple of wooden spoons, and he starts accompanying you with a cadence. And you see another old timer that just kind of starts crooning in kind of this strange harmony with his voice, and it's surprisingly good. And you quickly realize and remember, and it kind of lets you harken back to the old days in the country where, just family getting together and playing some music and humming some tunes and having a great old shindig. That's what your entertainment was like. That's how you grew up, and it kind of touches your heart a little bit. It kind of makes you remember your origins, your roots a little bit. And while all this is going on, Emeraldi and Lycum, you approach Sergeant Voss, who is quite clearly not himself. He's groaning, sweat is pouring off of him, and he's going, Mama, I'm sorry, Mama. And you you lift his tunic and you see this great gash that goes from his solar plexus down across his side, and even though it's sanitized, you can see that it has started to show signs of infection. It doesn't look like actually he has long to live at all.
Morality, I'm following you on this one. You have more expertise in this area than I do.
Emerald wants to do a medicine check on him first.
Can I assist him?
Yeah. Medicine check at advantage. Yeah.
Nice.
You are able to, clean the wound. You, even though it kind of sets your teeth on edge, you actually put your hand inside his wound to make sure that his innards are okay and everything is where they're supposed to be. And it looks like, his intestines are fine. You do find where some of it has already been stitched together, as if the spear had cut open, some of his insides. And the cleric, having no more spell slots left, no more capability, I should say, of casting any spells because she has exhausted her abilities, had to resort to just basics, stitching and stuffing, and you see where she had packed the wound as best she could, but there was just nothing else she could do.
Emerald consults with Lycum. Baranar has a special prayer I can pray upon him to clear any infection. But I've seen some of your natural healing, and I believe it is of a stronger connection than mine. Maybe I will clean the infection first, and then maybe you can heal, and then I'll try to finish up after you.
Gladly. Go ahead, I'll follow you.
Alright, so Emeraldi, what are you going to do to try to save this man's life?
Emeraldi casts with his oath spell a lesser restoration.
Okay. Nice. Yeah, you extend your hand over his forehead and lightly place your hand on his forehead and feel the healing energy of Baranar extend throughout his body. It's almost like a squeegee on a windshield wiping away the water. You feel the disease kind of draining out. I know, that's a weird it's a weird description,
Dr.
I guess.
Nobody knows.
But will you quit it, guys? I'm trying to do a thing here.
You're doing it so well. I had to.
The disease drains out of his body, and his moans subside. You notice that his brow begins to cool ever so slightly, though you realize it'll probably take a little bit more time for his temperature to normalize.
And I will cast Cure Wounds at 3rd level.
All right. Wow. Yeah. As you release your healing energy into Sergeant Voss, you watch with kind of a delighted amazement as his wounds literally just kind of stitch together, almost like it's growing together in accelerated time, and you hear him gasp and shudder as his back arches and the healing energy goes through the rest of him. He goes and then he just collapses. It looks like he's breathing easy and is now just sleeping.
Awesome.
You get my whisper, Brian?
No, you have to start over.
Okay. Does anything special happen on the roll I made?
I didn't get it. For some. Oh wait,
Oh.
hold on. I did. I'm looking at the wrong screen. Ah. Oh yeah, you get 2 successes.
Okay.
So, all right.
Well, it's a good start.
Sergeant Voss is sleeping peacefully.
Lycum looks back and asks if he heard that they needed fresh water as well. If that was an issue.
The young cleric not signifies that yes, that is the case, and directs you to several water barrels. I'm just going to assume you spend about 5 minutes purifying that.
Yeah, I have purify food and drink, so
All right,
I'll
is
use
that a cantrip or what?
No, it's a first level spell.
All
so
right.
it's everything within 5 feet of me. So I'd get
It's also a ritual, I believe.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
So you can just do it as a
you
ritual.
You can
Yeah,
do
I'll
it as
just
a
do it as a
ritual
ritual.
over 10 minutes. That I would just say it applies to all of the water barrels in the place. Bandages are now clean. The bedding that's not on the bed, all of that is now clean. And the place is looking a little bit more upbeat than it did 20 minutes ago.
While this 20 minutes is going on, Banner is like carrying kids around on his arms and just trying to cheer them up.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah. And
Beetle has
you actually look like a Christmas tree of kids because you got kids hanging off of your arms and you're like, ah, just having a fun, and they're giggling and laughing and crawling all over you and having a great time at this
One pukes on your
extra
arm.
boon of a play toy. Beetle, what are you doing?
Beetle and Burt Reynolds have found the armory and were repairing broken tools and equipment and armor and weapons and stuff.
Oh yeah, and there were a lot of them that were showing signs of wear and tear. A lot of armor that, as you look at it, and this armor, some of these breastplates and chainmail shirts were so horribly mangled that they were barely armor pieces anymore, and you had to wonder at whether or not the people wearing them had managed to survive. But between you and Bert, you were able to mend everything there, and even spend a little extra time to sharpen the dull blades even.
Sweet.
And that occurs over about 20 minutes as well. After about 20 minutes, you hear the Banner and Beetle, you guys are upstairs, and you hear the door at the end of the hall open, and you hear the faint clink, clink, clink of armor, and you look up to see Elspeth the Red standing there, and she takes a look at the armory and at the kids, and just kind of one corner of her mouth smirks up a little bit, and she goes, I realize that you may be busy, but we do have a war to fight if you are of a mind to help.
Are we all there now?
Yeah, you guys, the rest of you that were downstairs, I will have assumed, after your tasks, that you have also come up to join Beetle and Banner at the tail
This is
end of
Elspeth
what she says.
This is Elspeth asking us if we wanted to help.
Yes.
I look at her and I go, well, what do you think we have been doing for the last 20 minutes?
Yes, well, be that as it may.
I'm
these
anxious to
things
spill
aren't
some
going to
blood.
take back the city.
I'm ready for
Though I
to have
do
some
thank
flesh
you
in my
for your
mouth.
efforts.
We're just making sure everybody's ready.
Yes. Noted. and she turns on her heel and heads back to the office.
I follow her.
Is there any particular reason that whatever she says, I suddenly want to do the opposite of it?
I mean, I'm not aware of Dawn having any problems with the authority. I can't even finish saying it. I just start laughing.
As you guys...
Emeraldy asks his fellow party members, I mean, I understand she was an administrator of the city, right? But is she actually a military commander of the city
Yes,
as well?
she's the military commander of the city.
You never know. She might just have an 8 in her charisma and be as terrible at talking as I am.
But seriously, she's more abrasive than I am.
Yeah, you're not really abrasive, Don. You're something else.
Thank you.
Yeah, that word hasn't been made up yet.
I'm sure they're working on it.
I look over at Velis.
What is uncouth at best, but let us see what she has to say. I mean, honestly, I don't mind being pointed at given a target to vent my rage upon, but so if it's a target we like, why not attack it?
Yep.
And anything I can do to help you, Velis, to find your college mates?
I'm of a mind to understand what the current strategy is other than just simply survival. It's a careful march. We're applying our hammer and tongs to apply the right pressure to tip the balance and us taking back control of the city.
Well, then we should
she
probably...
doesn't have a grip on it.
No, that's her job, and she's summoned us to her war council. We might as well go hear her out.
I start walking.
Yeah, I've been walking that way, but I kind of stopped when the party stopped.
Oh, or we all just said that while we were walking.
As you all enter the office, this is the same office, Dawn, that you so ably charmed the gift officer before, and as you enter, you see a Terran Hornblade sitting behind the desk. Across the room, bending over a table with a map of the city, is Elspeth and Ross Goddard. But Terran Hornblade is pretty relaxed as he's leaning back in the chair, feet up on the desk, puffing away at a pipe. And his short, well-groomed white beard and his sharp blue eyes take you all in, and he goes, "Yes, I was wondering when you would show up. Well met, well met. Ironic that I'm back here after being freed." And he just kind of puffs away at his pipe. He goes, Right. He tosses his pipe up in the air and it just kind of disappears. And he stands up on his feet and snaps his fingers, and from across the room, a staff flies across and lands in his hand with a smack. He goes, "To business then. Elspeth, Ross, shall we?" And he walks over to the map of the city on the table. What you see, let me see if I can do this on the fly. I don't know if I can or not.
Hey, Brian, does Beatle recognize the religious symbols on Elspeth's outfit? Does she wear anything?
Make a religion check. Oh, yeah.
Okay, I thought so.
It's really hard to miss the religious symbols that's engraved on her pauldrons, and again, it's actually inlaid with gold on her breastplate. But it is the symbol of the Red Knights.
Okay.
Okay. So as he bends over the map, you actually see several flags on the map. Most of them on the north side of the river. He points them out and he says, we have control over these areas of the city in the northern section. Now, as you may realize, a majority of the arcane academies and the bard schools are over there, as well as, of course, the High Palace, which is why it was our most heaviest concentration. Plus, we had managed to hold them off the best in the north, having better prepared and a little bit more, shall we say, manpower or soldier, military resources, whatever. But therein lies the problem. As you may have seen, we are preparing to begin taking back. Can you guys see those red flags? Yep. Okay.
Uh-huh.
We are preparing to take back what we can of the southern side of the city. That includes the other arcane academy, the Ladies' Arcane Academy, as well as a few other places of great import. We will continue concentrating on that. However, there are a few things that must not escape our attention. The first is the southwest gate tower. While lightly defended, we have not been able to cut through the enemy lines well enough to reach it and to secure it. If we could, it would give us another defensive bastion from which to work. That is one potential objective. Not the most important, you understand. But, and he pauses and he kind of looks at Elspeth. Are you sure we can trust them? Elspeth kind of looks at you all with a critical eye. And she says, well, they did free you.
Also
Fair
took care
enough.
of all those airships in your sky, too, in case you were curious.
Yes, I know that, but you are not from here.
I would beg to almost differ about that, sir. I studied here for many years, and I consider this place, if not my second home, then my home.
Ah,
I must say that I am almost offended.
well, how eloquently put. What school did you go to?
Which one did I go to?
I don't have that in front of me.
I went to the.
I gotta look. Hold on.
What? Give me a list. I don't think I
Things
picked
were
one.
going so well.
I know.
You went to Arkans in Victorium.
I attended Arkans and Victorium.
Ah, Arkans. Tried and true. Very classical education. Very well, I stand corrected.
And I went to the school of Ross Goddard.
Ross kind of winks at you and he goes, oh, don't pay him no mind. He's just too full of himself. Tyrion says, I'll beg to differ, old man. What are you calling old man, he says. Elspeth says, sirs, can we please return to the matter at hand? Right. I digress. The best and most important thing that we can do right now is to regain control of the Silverymoon Mythals. Ironically, Illustrial's death may yet serve us. You see, only one wizard can be attuned, or arcane magic user can be attuned to the Mythals at any one time. It is their responsibility to power it occasionally with their own essence. Because over time, Mythals, at least these Mythals, have a tendency to wane in their power. And they need recharging, much like arcane batteries of some sort, much like the crystals on your airship. That needs to be occasionally replaced. So, I have the opportunity to attune to the Mythals. And once I do so, I can erect a barrier over the city, preventing any more attacks from the air, and it will allow me to track any intruders inside the city walls, even under the city.
Nice.
But
Have you all had any word from Veryl?
I have not.
Last we heard, she was going straight for that, and Beetle points in the direction of the devil's anus.
That is indeed the case. I worry for her safety. Even I could not break through that. It's too strong. It's being powered off-site, so to speak. I don't know exactly how it's being powered, but maybe I will send scouts out to see if we can catch sight of her. But in any case, the Mythals. In order to attune the Mythal, I must have the orb that connects to it. You connect to the orb, and the orb then powers the Mythals. Thankfully, it was not in the High Palace. It was in Illustrial's retreat, a place known only to her and myself. And now Lady Elspeth and Ross and you. Well, of its existence, you don't know where it is yet. I must help with the defense of this city. I must oversee, with Elspeth, the upcoming sorties into the southern part of the city, especially where the arcane academies are concerned, and the other Bard Academy College, is concerned, as there are volatile things there. Well, it's not good for a common soldier to come across, if you catch my meaning. It may be very dangerous. And so what I hope that you will agree to do is to go there. Now, of course, there is a caveat with this, otherwise I'd have assigned someone much less important than apparently yourselves to this task. There are automated defenses, and when I was taken prisoner, the item that I use that allows me to stroll right past the defenses was of course taken. I have not been able to find it nor retrieve it. And so even I do not know what you may be facing. She was a very powerful wizard, and she took the protection of her studies and her retreat very seriously. So I would expect something suitably scaled.
So, just so I understand, there's a war happening, and you want us to go get your jewelry?
I want you to go get the orb that will allow me to attune to the Mythals of the city so we can end this war. Is that not good enough for you?
Well, how does putting up a shield end the siege that's already happening within.
It will allow me to find any. It will also allow me to find any enemy forces within the city. Pinpoint.
Well, we know where they are. We're hitting them constantly. I
We
just
do
don't
not
see how this is
know
helpful.
where all of their bases and supply depots are. We are still finding those things. In addition, there are another 15 airships unaccounted for. Would you rather sit and wait for them to return?
Banner leans back against the wall and just whatever.
By all means, if you have a better idea, I'm willing to listen. Elspeth kind of... Well, of course, I'll listen. She kind of crosses her arms, rocks back on her heels, and kind of stares at you, Banner.
In my experience, wars aren't won by fancy objects.
Where did you say this orb was located again?
Right, well, I suppose. Very well. I just find it highly irregular. Well, as you know, the city has several arcane academies. One of which is the... Let me find it here. I forgot the name of it.
I was watching part of that movie today, so that's why I thought of it.
Oh, yeah. That's the right way. Yeah, one of them is over there by the Stockwood. Not far, unfortunately, from the arcane vortex. It's just to the south and west of it. There is only one way in which you can get in, and I will have to conduct you there myself.
Is it protected magically?
Yes and no. It is subterranean, but there is no entrance in the traditional sense.
If you tell me where this place is, or show me, I could stand on top of it and transport myself down into the room that contains it, grab it, and then transport myself out.
You're talking about Dimension Door, and under certain circumstances, I would agree. However, I have always found it safer to use teleportation. No offense, young lady. Which is why, of course, I am willing to conduct you there myself. However, after which I must leave you. Once inside, there is a way out. It's, if I remember correctly, it's a certain lever that can be found in her personal chambers. It will teleport you safely out to a predetermined destination, a teleportation circle that we have not far from the ladies' college.
Are we certain it's still working properly? The city's been getting bombed for weeks.
Isn't the ladies' college still in enemy territory? We'll be teleporting into the enemies section of town?
And now you know why I must stay with the sorties. We are hitting the ladies' college concurrently.
Ah, clearing us a path.
Ideally, we will have it under control when you arrive. And if not, well, your reinforcements will probably be the tipping point.
Emerald
I don't
kind of
suppose it's possible for us to just wait until it is under your control, and then to go there.
Well, the thought has crossed my mind, Elspeth says. But by attacking the college and other prime locations concurrently, I am hoping to spread their forces thinner than we are spread. They, unlike us, do not have ready replacements. And so a war of attrition for us is the better call.
Emerald asks, what do we know that Githyanki are afraid of?
Me.
The only
Well, besides
thing...
you, Banner, of course, but
Actually,
Emerald kind of directs his question kind of more to Ross.
okay. He does have proficiency in history. Well, the only thing I know about Githyanki is that they're not necessarily afraid of anything, but they hate illithids. Well, in the...
Emerald has a big
Right.
smile. Really? They don't like illithids? You know what one looks like?
I can't say that I've ever had the... Well, I mean, I've seen pictures, of course, but... Why do you want to know?
Well, why not give them something to look at that they don't like to distract them on a large scale?
I see what you're getting at, my boy. I think I like this. Where were we? Oh, illusions. Of course, I can do. Tarn, I've got the. Elspeth says, well, I'm sure that whatever you and Tarn come up with will be useful. Please, feel free to work it out between you two and inform me on how you may supplement our forces. Right, quite right. And he kind of pulls Ross off to the side, and they start kind of talking excitedly. Well, Ross starts talking excitedly to Tarn, and you hear Tarn going, yep. Well, now, that's quite interesting. Will you let me talk, old man? During which, Elspeth is kind of drumming her fingers on the table, going, and giving this long-suffering sigh.
Look over at Banner and say, if this orb can produce a shield to protect this city from further airship attacks, it's a good thing. It's something we do need to help them get. But what would you plan to do to just just fight and try to take everything back as fast as we can?
I just, not knowing those airships are coming back, I just hate to leave these people to fight. You saw them. I mean, you fought alongside them to clear that landing zone. How many of them are as capable as us?
Not many, but if we can help.
Emerald butts in. What about using our airship to haul in allies for us or supplies? I mean, it's basically a big hauler. I mean, we can fly to Mithril Hall, load up with dwarven warriors with more bandages and food, and help defend the city as well, or at least something.
Do I have any idea how long it would take us to get there and back?
You're assuming Mithril Hall is able to send people right away. And that we'd get there and back with those reinforcements prepared and ready to go and able to go, allowed to go, willing to go before all these other airships show up and we're gone.
I don't want to leave anyone. That's
Yeah,
sort of
I'm not leaving.
That's my whole problem with this is I don't want to leave these people while we go chasing off on to chase down something that may or may not be useful.
Well, it's clearly useful. I mean, the Mithrils are an arcane marvel like few have ever been known in our world, in our history.
I do have to agree with Beatle on that. The Mythals have provided safety and shielding for the city for a long time. If it weren't for the unfortunate assassination of Lady Lustriel, well, none of this would even be happening right now.
Well, what's the alternative? We just fight our way through the streets? We wouldn't get very far doing that.
Well,
We're better as an elite task force.
Banner,
That's my point.
Banner, you would know, based on what little experience you have with the airship, that it would take only about 2 days to get from Silverymoon to Mithril Hall.
All right. To answer
So
your
a 4-day round trip.
But I will say we actually have 2 special teams. We got Ross, Darren, and our big Hawken friend. They could go pilot the ship while we go strike and catch this ball thing.
And Dane, you have Dane as well.
Emeraldi, that's not a bad idea. It would only take 4 days, I think, based on what I've seen of what the ship can do to get there and back, assuming they can load it quickly.
I look at Banner and I go, we need to make sure that they don't touch the turbo button. The little bit we did yesterday removed about a half a month's worth of charge on
I thought that was only 5 days. That's what you said.
It was only a few days.
Yeah, it was only 2 or 3 days.
Okay, removed days worth in a short period of time.
Well, it might be worth it for this instance to use them.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe not overuse them, but
Okay,
I'll follow you on this. Whatever these myths, you know me, this isn't my area of expertise.
So it would take you about just over a day if you went like full bore. But
warp speed.
You don't know what it would do,
Right.
how much time that would eat up on the crystals.
I don't think we want to do that because we might lose the ship for this
Agreed.
encounter.
Well-
But just to finish that quick thought, these things were not effective the first time when this lady was assassinated, so I just question their effectiveness overall. But if you all want me to trust you on this, I will.
I don't question their effectiveness, but I do agree with you, Banner, in that I would prefer to be on the front line, helping push.
And you, I think Beatle shared the journal entries with you all, so you would all remember that Illustrial was in a comatose state. She was attuned to the Mythals herself, and the Mythals were not at their peak operating efficiency because she hadn't been able to repower them or recharge them. So
How far underground is this subterranean complex we'd be working our way through?
who are you asking?
The guy who was describing the place.
Cairn.
Well, as far as I can tell, about 1,000 feet.
All right. Well, in that case,
Maybe a little over. Something like that.
well, you see, this is actually a rather important distinction for me.
All right. Hold on. He pulls out this book from his little pouch. And he opens it. He flips through. You see a few sketches and other things like what looks to be a very complex orrery with various crystals in it and a few other things that he's flipping through. And those let me look here.
He pulls out a slide rule.
It is, exactly 1,280 feet.
All right, never mind. Why'd they build it so far underground?
Magic.
How did they build it so far underground?
Magic.
Lumber holes.
It's amazing, boy. What a young lady, excuse me. I can't believe I did that. What the arcane is capable of.
Doug makes a non-committal noise.
In the back of your mind, you hear this kind of cackling chuckle. You better listen to her, boy. Girl, I keep doing that. Sorry.
And is it you better listen to him? That's a guy talking, right?
Yeah.
Next them up.
He makes him up.
Hey, this is not as easy as it looks. But yeah, you hear in the back of your mind, Dawn, basically in agreement with what Taryn just said. And you get a mental image of huge, massive, floating metropolises.
Don't suppose you could share those secrets with me, I mumble under my breath.
He just kind of chuckles, and it fades off into the recesses of your mind.
Thanks. Big help, as always.
Well,
So, when do I get to hit something?
well, I'm ready to conduct you down there now, if you are all...
Banner seemed rather opposed to that idea.
Well,
But I'd follow you all.
I
That's
can't
what you
force
want
you
to
to
do.
help us, but if you are going to help us, this is the help we need.
Well, we could split up. Some of us could go on the front lines, and the rest of us could hunt this artifact. It doesn't sound too
No.
dangerous down there.
No, I don't like that plan at all.
I like to keep an eye on my pack.
All right, just a suggestion.
Emeraldy asks,
See, I feel like that's an in character question that like would be brought up.
It's true.
No,
So,
that's fair. I agree. If
Emeraldy
but for the
asks,
sake of the game, I won't offer any resistance.
it wasn't for the
to-
game, Banner would prefer to go just fight and clear the way. But I'm
Yeah,
not gonna
Like
do
would be right there with you.
Emeraldy asks, are there any guardians or creatures down there that are living or protecting the good stuff down there?
Well,
I'm just going to
there-
go out on a limb and assume that there
most
are.
assuredly are. Honestly, I've only been down there a few times during the construction of the thing. It was the one place Celestial liked to go to be away from everybody and everything. You understand that in the latter part of her life, she was more, and she kind of glances over at Velas, a symbol than a person to most. It was lonely. And sometimes she just wanted to get away from all the prying eyes and all the bowing and scraping, and just wanted to be left alone to do the things that she loved, her studies, her wizard, her work in the arcane. As for whatever defenses that she has down there, I'm not entirely certain. I know that she has been working on a few things. Her latest was dabbling into being able to summon certain things, creatures from other planes, and it was a fascination for her, and quite honestly, it was a direction that I was not quite keen on, but I understood the fascination, I just did not share it. And of course, she told me one day that she did finally realize one of her life's goals, and said something about some constructs. I don't know exactly what she has down there, but word to the wise, be prepared for anything.
Beetle's ears perk up when he says constructs. Do That book you were looking at, does it have a layout of the place?
Unfortunate. Oh. Actually, he pulls it back out because he had put it away and kind of flips through and he goes, well, I've got a layout of the place. I don't know how accurate it is. I know that she did further building and tinkering long after I was done helping her construct the basics. There is a foyer, of course. Let me see. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a fairly rough description of it based on the what he has, and you guys can figure a map out from that.
Okay.
So he tells you that there is the foyer. It's a fairly straightforward place, and the entrance where he had always teleported to. And I do have to talk normal right now because my voice is starting to get scratchy. It's a 60-foot square room, off of which to the north is a passage that takes stairs down further to a study. A study that's modestly appointed, at least it was the last time he was there. Off of that study, he knows that there is to the east a hallway that leads to another room wherein a scrying pool is. When he was there last, there was various furniture there, couches and the like. And that's it. That's all he was made privy to.
Okay.
But he does suspect, of course, since she was been doing tinkering and the like, that there is probably much more to the place. He just doesn't know it.
Okay. Anything else we should know?
Anything else? Well, I'm embarrassed to say I don't know too much more about the place. I know that she had some very beautiful tapestries there. But I don't think that necessarily helps you in your efforts.
Before we go, Banner pulls the Javelin of Lightning off his back next to Shadow Grace, and he goes over to the Red Knight lady. It's like, see that this finds someone who's able to use it. I want it back, but I want it put to good use.
She gives you the first genuine smile you've ever seen on her face. And she goes, "Oh, I know just the person." And believe me, with his arm, he will put it to mighty use.
Banner nods, and then, well, are we doing this?
Emeraldy hefts his maul on his shoulder. All right, let's go.
Very well. Ross, you got the whole illicit illusion thingy all squared away? And he just kind of waves at Taryn, and he's kind of poring over some quick notes that he's scribbling. He reaches into his pouch and pulls out this impossibly long wand, the same one that he's had on the airship before, and says, "I've got Myrtle right here. It's going to be great."
Lycum gets ready to cast a spell magic just in case something bad starts to happen.
Taryn Hornblade says, kind of looks at you and goes, "Right, well, gather round, hold hands," and he kind of holds out his hands. And as you gather around, he begins to cast the spell, the same spell that you heard Viral cast not moments, but a couple days before. And the world shifts as you blink out of one room and suddenly find yourself in another. And this is where we're going to take a brief break. You all appear in the foyer of Illustrial's retreat. You are greeted with gold-trimmed white marble floors and blue tapestries. I almost said pastries by mistake. Blue tapestries draping white granite walls as some kind of ambient light with a blue hue brightly lights the room as it senses your presence. There are 4 white support columns and a massive statue made of what looks to be pure mithril plating, standing about 40 foot tall on a dais behind 2 rows of 4 runes each. The statue looks to be crouched, each hand holding a spiked tower shield taller than even the tallest of the party. A thin layer of dust coats everything.
Beetle looks around at all the incredibly amazing things and she says, "Wow, what a dump."
And Lycum looks to the group and says, "If we're fine with waiting here for 10 minutes, I will cast detect magic with ritual. Otherwise, I can do it, but I'm starting to tap myself a little bit."
No, go ahead.
No, I
I
think we should rush blindly in right away without taking any precautions whatsoever.
You know, that's how I've lived this 600 years. It's just
Banner,
rush blindly
after you.
everything.
You're muted, Banner.
Werner says okay and starts walking unless someone grabs his arm.
No, stop.
All right.
That was a joke.
He stops.
I do that sometimes.
Beetle, during those 10 minutes, is going to kind of just poke around and look at things and kind of investigate, see if she can kind of get any clues about what we might be facing down here dealing with.
I'm going to look for a
Make
hidden door.
Make a perception check.
Investigation, you said?
He said perception.
Perception, okay.
Investigation is to figure out how things work mechanically or to, that kind of thing.
I would like to...
Wow. That's the
Todd
worst
gets a
I've ever
21.
seen.
Can I look for a secret door or hidden entrance to a secret room?
You can make a perception check as well then.
I'm paranoid that there's one in here. I'm paranoid there's one in every room I go into. Oh, damn, that was a good roll.
Whoa. Yeah, that is a good roll.
Turns out I'm proficient in things.
Specifically, you do not see any kind of secret entrance or hint thereof.
At the very least, I'm confident that there isn't one.
Yes. You do notice the door to the north, solid, thick granite, closed solidly, and next to it, to the right of it, inscribed in the wall itself, is some Elvish writing.
Ooh, I want to read it.
I saw it.
Cog would have noticed this as well.
No.
I will read it without touching it or looking at it in case it's explosive runes.
Okay. It says... three lines. The first says, "Man in a henge." The second line says, "The waterborne leaping." And the third line says, "Assured direction."
Hey, Beetle, there's some funny words on the wall over here. You should look at them and then tell me what they mean. You're muted, Julia.
Beetle walks over and looks at them blankly because she does not read Elvish.
I say, man in a henge, the waterborne leaping, assured direction. That's the best translation I can give.
Huh. Man in a hinge. Hinge like a stone hinge?
Henge. Henge.
Hmm.
Maybe they misspelled it.
Waterborne leaping.
The
Assured.
waterborne.
Assured direction.
I jump in front of the door. Does anything happen?
Nothing happens. Although you do notice that Terran Hornblade is gone.
Gee.
He was a
thanks.
big help.
Well, assured direction. Do you think that could be north?
Don gives a non-committal shrug.
And
You realize that you're pretty much on your own at this point.
if you look at the screen, you also notice the 2 rows of runes that is in front of the dais with the large statue.
Wait, I'm sorry. Say that again.
That's all I can see. Is that all I'm supposed to see?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, the runes. Okay.
I'm only showing you the runes because I don't want you guys to like.
Well, one of the runes
explore
looks like a
based on
fish
what you
leaping
see
out
on
of the
the map.
water. And one looks like a man standing inside a stone circle. And what is an arrow pointing in a direction?
Maybe we should each stand on one of the corresponding ones.
Are these tiles on the floor?
Yes.
Okay.
I stand on the fish, the one that Beatle claims looks like a fish jumping out of the water. I don't really agree, but I'll take her word for it.
That's this one.
Yep.
Beetle will stand on the stone hinge one, and she'll have Tank go over and stand on the one that looks like an arrow
Put
pointing.
one paw on the one that looks
Dawn,
like
as you step on the one with the fish before you're the first to move, it turns red.
I step off of it.
Can I?
And as you step off of it, you begin to hear this faint humming sound that quickly dies away as you step off.
Maybe we have to do these in the right order. What was the first one again?
The hinge.
The hinge.
I step on the one with the hinge. The one, this one.
As you do so, it turns green.
Okay.
There's
Now it was the water, so I'm gonna jump on the fish one.
Yep. As you step on it, it also turns green, and there's no further humming.
I have Tank go stand on the one that looks like an arrow.
As Tank steps on it, nothing happens.
Banner, will you step on that, please? It probably has to be a person. No offense, Tank.
Sure, I step on it.
You explode.
As you step on it, it also turns green, and then the other runes turn green. And to the north, you hear a faint as something unlatches.
Now, whose residence was this again?
Lady Illustrial?
Lady Illustrial? How did she activate this if she came here by herself all the time? That's my question. Maybe there's
She
another way
probably
in.
had something that bypassed all of this because it's her place.
Yeah, the old man said he used to have
As you
something
guys
like
are
that.
talking, the giant statue stands up from his crouch, and his eyes turn green, and you see a magic mouth appear, and the magic mouth says, "Welcome, Tern. I didn't think you'd figure it out." Okay, it was an easy one.
So
Is it
with my
off his
detect magic, I kind of want to start going forward, keeping an eye out, looking for things, and as well as trying to make sure that we're not walking on
Yeah.
any
Has,
traps.
The first thing
I eye the statue suspiciously as I leave.
the first thing that you notice, Lycum, is the statue is covered like it like shines like it shines like a beacon in your vision with conjuration magic.
Okay.
That giant statue talk like a lady.
It's magic.
All right then.
It's the same spell Corvellis used to freak us out when we were in his lair. Remember?
Oh, when I chopped up all those books.
Please let's not talk about that part.
All right.
All right. So, what do you do?
I guess the door's open, right?
It's not open, but you heard something unlatch.
Oh.
Do I see anything on the door that like magic
No,
or anything
no
that
magic
will help
on
with
the
it?
door.
All right.
I'll let Beetle look at the door first if she wants to.
Yeah, I figure Beetle and I will work
I
in
mean,
tandem.
this
She'll look
place
for
seems
traps.
like a house of spiders and horrible fun, so I feel like I should let Beetle look at the door.
Okay.
All right. Beetle will go and look at the door.
I mean, check
Does
for
it look
traps,
trapped or locked?
basically, is what I'm
Yeah.
basically.
Make a perception check. Doesn't look trapped. Certainly doesn't look locked.
Okay. I'm gonna listen.
It's awfully quiet.
Too quiet. There's probably something really awful on the other side of this door, and I push it open.
All right, let's go. I walk in.
You see a 30-foot hallway and stairs that lead down, and the hallway terminates after 30 feet into another solid-looking granite door.
Okay. I will examine this door.
All right.
Looks safe.
Yeah, totally safe.
I reach for the doorknob.
You just reach for it. You grab a hold of the doorknob.
Does it open?
Yep. And as you do so, a poison bolt comes out and sticks you in the arm.
Yep.
For about 3 points of damage. Poison damage.
Okay.
What was that?
As I pluck the dart out of my arm and look a little green around the gills, I kind of toss it on the floor and say, something I should have noticed, but I didn't.
All right.
As you file into the next room, you see a modestly appointed study with 4 different bookshelves and a desk kind of sit back on the left-hand corner, the northwest corner. As you enter the room, torches spring to life, but they have a red flame, and you hear a voice kind of come from everywhere at once, a female's voice saying, "I do not recognize your presence. Please leave at once. You will not get another warning."
Oh, great.
I wish there was some way we could tell her that Hornblade sent us.
Well, she's dead, so I don't
Yeah.
think that's going.
I don't think that's going to work either.
What do you do?
Crack dog cracks her knuckles.
Let's try. Hey, we're
What
here.
about that statue out in the foyer?
What about it?
Well, can we interact with it?
I mean, you can try.
Did it go back to its I thought it was just a magic mouse spell that made it look like it was animated. Did it actually animate?
Well, it stood
No,
up.
it actually
We don't know
animated.
what that means, though.
The
Oh,
magic mouth spell appeared in front of it.
okay.
It was kind of like in the air in front of it.
Did the statue do anything?
It stood up.
It stood up to its full height.
Oh.
It was crouched like it was in a defensive position,
Mm-hmm.
But then when you figured the puzzle out, it stood up to its full height, and the magic mouth.
Like it might have been getting ready to attack us if we did it wrong or something.
Hey, Lady Illustrial, can you hear us?
I don't think it works that way,
I
unfortunately.
know, I'm just trying.
I know. I just like being a cynic sometimes.
Beetle will go pop her head back in the foyer and go, "Oi!" to the statue and see if it turns and looks at her.
Maybe we can. Oh,
As you pop your head back into the foyer, you notice that the statue is no longer standing. It's crouched and it's facing the door. It's holding both shields out in front of it, perpendicular to the ground. And as it sees you, it begins charging.
I close the door.
As you close the door, you hear this thunderous smash. Large spikes smash through the door and comes just inches from your nose.
hey, didn't that statue just tell us to leave?
As
That's all we were
everything
doing.
just kind of crumbles and the doorway begins to kind of buckle, it backs up again and just waits.
So much for warnings, I guess.
Also, it's telling us to leave. We can't do that. There's no way out.
Yeah, we have no choice but to continue forward. So
Can I just
They
blast
told
this
us-
thing?
they told us we were going to have to deal with whatever safeguards she put in place. It's not something we didn't know going in.
Beetle, based on your experience of traps and the like, you have a feeling that that little tiny trap wasn't necessarily meant to be deadly or anything. It was more of a
warning.
"Hey, how are you?" But now
Mhm.
you've tripped the defenses of the entire complex.
Okay.
Well, that didn't take long. Can I blast this thing?
Well, it's locked outside. We don't really need to.
Well, there's one in here too, isn't there? I thought there was a thing in here.
Nope.
No.
All that's in there. Let me show you.
Beetle turns around and she points to the now doors with the spikes in them and she says, "Nobody opens or approaches or tries to go through that way because that statue's waiting to kill us on the other side."
Yeah, that door is basically a crumbling mess now, because the spikes from the statue's shields just smashed it to smithereens, just pulverized it.
Great.
So you are now in this small, modest study. To the east. Oh, whoops. Slight maps snafu. One moment. Wrong one.
I like how the mono drone is still in my
To the
profile.
east is another granite door.
That guy was an MVP.
Oh, there, I see something. Okay. Okay. Beetle also takes a real quick look and sees if there's any books about constructs on the shelves.
There are. Yes, Benner?
No, go ahead.
Make a perception check as you're just kind of looking through real quick the various books. Some of the books are in languages you don't understand or can't understand. Other books seem to be very rudimentary, which is a little puzzling, given Lady Illustrial's reputation. But, you know, like the basics of how arcane power is wielded and things like that, and kind of instruction on how to use prestidigitation, what firebolt is, and, you know, the basics.
Well, Corvellis didn't keep the good books out in the main study either.
Great. So now instead of helping people, we're down here playing games with some dead wizard.
Emeraldi asks, looks on the desks, are there any knickknacks or any kind of really special items here? Maybe they're important to her that might help us through the rest of this stupid place.
Like, do you need anything shiny?
Do I see anything shiny? Do I see anything shiny, actually?
Make a I know passive perception.
Well, I'm specifically asking if he sees anything magical.
But it's up for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So as we're working through.
No. Nothing pops other than, of course, the torches on the west wall that are now burning red.
Can I help with just looking around and seeing what we need to be doing next?
Well, we need to continue on. So where's the next door out? There's only one, right?
You said it was to the east, right?
Yeah, there is a door to the east.
Okay. All right, Beetle.
Yes. Do you think she'd do anything special with how many torches are in this room?
They're just.
there's
I don't
just
think
two.
they're anything special.
There is also. I'm sorry, like you do see a lantern sitting on the desk that also sparked to life. This one is not burning red. It looks like it's just a normal lantern, but it is also covered in transmutation magic.
Okay.
Let's take. What's this on the desk? A lantern?
Yeah, it has some sort of magical power. I wouldn't worry too much about it yet.
What type of magic?
Transmutation.
Emeraldy grabs it. It might help us
Wait,
see.
it might not be a lantern.
Emeraldy's hands on the handle.
All right.
A genie comes out.
As you do so, as you grab the lantern grabs you back.
I knew it.
As it
It's a mimic.
chomps on your arm. Come on, I had to. It's like one of those things. You just have to do it once.
I agree. I did it once. Lamp mimic. Wonder if it can breathe fire.
And attacks you with a roll of 20, doing 10 bludgeoning damage as it just kind of tries to chomp on your plate-covered arm. What do you do?
Emerald takes his maul and takes a whack at it.
All right, make your attack.
Don jumps away from the commotion.
We're still in the study, though, right?
Yep.
Oh yeah, you
Presumably dance.
smash it good. As you slam your maul down, you actually smash the desk underneath, making a mess of it as pieces of wood goes flying in every direction, doing 27 points of damage. For now, everyone roll initiative. All right, Beetle, you're up.
All right. Beetle is kind of over, I'm guessing, by the door 'cause she was walking towards it to look for traps. So
Yep.
she just, and then she heard you guys say transmutation magic, and Molly say, "Well, let's take it." And she's like, "No, it might not be it." Shit. And she whips out her crossbow and is going to take a shot at this thing.
All right. Yeah, that hits as it thuds into its front, doing 17 points of damage. Bam! Kind of splinters a little bit.
Beetle's just gonna back up against one of the bookshelves.
All right. Lycum, you're up. What are you gonna do?
He's going to sigh and cast poison spray on it and be like, "Dang it, Emeraldy."
All right. Yeah. Okay.
I was like, of course there's going to be a mimic in here.
Good thing this whole place isn't a mimic.
Right?
Or is it?
Rolls an 8 on his con save, so fails, takes 15 points of damage.
Nice.
So,
Take poison damage if it's a construct?
Mimics aren't constructs, they're animals.
Oh, okay. Thought we were fighting lanterns.
No, a mimic. That looks like a lantern. or looked like lantern.
Oh,
Alright.
I get it.
See a
And
baby
which
moving.
brings us to Banner. What you wish to
Banner's
do.
like a little peeved off. He's like, really? And he just goes up and he hits the thing. He's like, really? Actually, he seems more agitated than usual, to be honest, if anybody is paying attention.
Seems like he's cranky.
That is pretty
Yeah. Oh, hold on. Oh, yeah, that definitely hits. Doing a total of 12 damage as the necrotic energy also pump into it, and you begin to see kind of a blackening around the wound.
The total, though, that's 13.
Oh, sorry.
Because the one
yeah,
side
you
is.
kill it. You just
Yeah.
finish off.
Yeah.
And you kind of, go crazy on it,
Yeah,
basically.
he's like, he goes a little too crazy, maybe.
All right, yeah. The thing kind of dies with a plaintive squeak, and you actually hear it say something, and it says, "Mommy," and it's dead.
Mix have mothers.
That was her pet.
Those things are weird, and I never want to see one again.
How can you call that thing a pet?
I
don't
would
know.
have one.
Hand off.
I like furry things.
Let's just go
Like
get this
all of
damn orb and get out of here.
Exactly.
All right, let's get a move on. The
All right,
longer we
Beatle.
take, the more people die.
Is this
Beetle
where we came in, or is this where we came in?
is gonna go check out the other
You
door.
came in down to the south. All right, you check the other door.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna go ahead and roll a perception check. if
I
you
just
do.
did.
Oh yeah, you feel a very confident sensation that it is not locked nor trapped.
All right. I am going to carefully crack it open and peek down the hallway because this is supposed to lead into a scrying chamber, right?
You swing it back, and it reveals a very narrow hall of about 5 feet in width. And after, I would say 20-30 feet, it turns sharply to the left.
Oh, I have an important question that I forgot to clarify with you. Did you rule on whether or not Tank is wearing and able to use my boots of Elven?
I'm going to say no.
Okay. Then I am wearing them then. Just to clarify.
Do I see any magic down the hall?
What's your... Let's see, okay. You see in the distance, along the far wall, a faint aura of evocation magic.
Hey, Beetle, I see a little bit of evocation. Emeraldy, you stay back there. Don't touch it.
And you see it, just to clarify, you see it roughly right here.
Yeah. He chuckled when he said that to Emeraldy. Just like, here we go.
Okay. That's probably something that's ready to blow up. Want to go take a look at it with me? Maybe you can dispel it if it needs dispelling.
Sure.
Alright, Beetle will carefully head that way. And she's looking for magic runes or anything like that. That would be a telltale.
Okay.
Yeah, Lycan would be looking for traps or anything that
Make
sets
another
it up.
perception check as you navigate the hall. Okay. You get approximately 25 feet down, and just as you're about to take another step, you kind of happen to see something out of the corner of your eye and look down. It's a pressure plate.
Okay. Am I able to ascertain what kind of trap this is?
Make an investigation check.
The kind that kills you.
Well, what you can guess is that basically the pressure plate will send off whatever is, set off whatever is further down the hall. Presumably
Okay.
something that would be suitably nasty and wizard-like.
Okay. Is this pressure plate small enough we can easily just bypass it?
Yeah, it's about a 5-foot block.
Okay. Am I able to like jam something under it so I want to press like an iron spike or something?
Sure, what do you want to jam under it?
Iron spike.
You have pythons?
Let me see. I think I have both. Let's see.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I will assume since you're always collecting like
Yeah.
tinker trash, is what I have affectionately
Trash.
called it.
Yeah, I've got 10 iron spikes. I never use them.
That you are able to kind of wedge them under there. Now that you've seen it, you don't even have to do a sleight of hand. It's
Okay.
fairly easy to
I'll
wedge
tell
under
people
there.
to avoid it, but just in case anybody slips or something, just to be extra safe.
All right. You continue on.
Yeah, and I'm still on the lookout in case there's like another pressure plate or anything else.
Okay.
Are these hallways dark?
These hallways, the connecting hallways are kind of dark, but they're not like black.
Okay.
They're dim light. As you continue along, I'm just going to use your previous perception check for that, the 23, and you find no other pressure plates as you come across yet another granite door.
Okay. I look up to like to kind of like see anything.
Yeah. I'm constantly looking for magic. Also, let me know when 10 minutes is up and we can figure out. I can cast it again, ritual or
Yeah,
normal.
about just over 5 minutes have passed
Perfect.
at this point.
Yeah, do I see anything?
Okay. You don't see anything else in the hallway, no.
Perfect. I let Beatle know.
Okay. I'm going to carefully check this door. Where is it? It's another granite door, you said, right?
Yep. Go ahead and make your perception check.
Okay. Great.
It's a perfectly fine door. It doesn't look locked. Doesn't look
Awesome. I reach for the doorknob.
All right. You open the door. You do see. Actually, let me look at this. I didn't write that one down. You see a rectangular room with columns in it. In the center, a scrying pool. You see two alcoves. In each alcove, you see two very large steel statues in the shape of a large bowl or steel.
Bowl? Like a bowl? B-O-W-L?
B-U-L-L, bowl.
Oh, bowl. Okay.
Or a steer. Like those Texas steers with the long horns.
Right. As I open the door, do they turn and look at us?
They don't seem to be moving.
Okay.
That's not ominous.
Are they magical?
I'm going to, as a bonus action, change my Coke of Many Fashions to be camouflaged with the stone in here. And I am going to immediately slip into the room and hide in case anything decides to attack us.
All right.
Banner just walks in.
I don't know. Give me a second.
Yeah, I'm just gonna walk in and say, "Huh, those look funny."
It's interesting.
All right.
Should we preemptively destroy them just in
Make
case?
your stealth check, Beetle, as you try to hide.
It's stone, so I get advantage in here,
That's fine.
which is really good.
I'm just gonna like stand in the room, just look around.
Yeah.
I see
I'm
people
looking
like
around.
crouching behind a pillar, just
Yeah.
like cloak over her head.
Banner goes over and walks towards one of the bowls.
All right, you.
Dawn
approach-
puts her hands in her
you-
pockets and waits for
you-
something
uh,
terrible to
okay,
happen.
So, as Banner, as you approach the bowl, you notice it's it's burning like a beacon with transmutation. I'm sorry, conjuration magic. And just as you open your mouth to warn them, everyone roll
Don't touch it,
initiative
though, just-
as the bowl in front of Banner
Nice.
suddenly springs to life and is upside down. Is charging.
Nice.
It's like these are gonna be like the bowl from Greek mythology, like the brass bowl that like couldn't be harmed.
All right, hold on. I
Do I
gotta
have
put
my
everybody's.
tokens or no?
I'm working on it.
Oh, I can do it. I mean, I just didn't know.
No, I've got tokens. Hold on.
Okay.
I was gonna do tokens for this.
I still can't see Banner's health bar or name. I've never been able to see it.
Banner's broken. Banner, let me put the token out if you would.
I did. I mean, I didn't touch it.
Oh my god, they all appeared at once. That's crazy.
Because I have it copied. I've got your tokens already set up. So all I have
Oh,
to do
okay.
is literally copy and paste.
Okay.
So,
So I'm gonna be right here. I assume.
yeah, Banner is right there. Everybody. Whoops, sorry.
Can I get advantage on this roll because I knew this was going to
I
happen?
was gonna say I also was like
How
going
did
up.
you know this was gonna happen?
Banner was going up to tap it to see if it moved. So I'm just saying he's not surprised by this at all. Like
I was just waiting for this. Okay, that's fine.
I would argue you guys have never seen anything like this happen before. So
we just
Dawn
saw a
is
giant
genre
statue
savvy.
outside move.
I knew that these things were going to happen.
before
It's fine.
today,
It's
before
whatever.
this moment.
Also, it just logged me out of roll 20 for some reason, so I have to rejoin before I can roll initiative.
Oops.
I'll roll in 1 second.
So-
Log back in. My god,
Well-
load game.
Am I rolling initiative? Is that what
Yep,
we're doing?
everyone roll initiative.
Oh, of course.
Roll 20's webpage takes longer to load than Reddit during high traffic times.
Are there two of these things or one?
There are two.
Okay.
See, I knew it was going to happen.
I still don't know why they're.
The
upside
dice
down.
agree with me.
That's just weird.
You can't argue with the dice. And Beetle knew it was going to happen too. Beetle, why do you have a +0 to dexterity?
What?
It's here. It says, is that you rolling for?
No,
tank?
that's me rolling for tank.
Okay. Well, it said you. So you haven't rolled for yourself yet.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, it's above this thing. But where do you roll? Oh, okay.
And
Not good.
Your dex is only one better than mine. I'm a sorcerer.
Yeah, but you're an elf.
Step it up. Yeah, I realized that my 18 charisma is sad that it's not 20. It's only a boon tiefling.
All right, so Banner is you and apparently Velis. Is that where you are, Velis?
I think he just didn't know he had to move it.
Yeah, you can move wherever you would have been.
And it looks like you need initiative.
All right, and I think we've got.
I'll just walk towards like the back
I'm missing-
middle of the room.
Velis, I need. I don't see your
Coming.
initiative roll. Damn,
Sorry.
Is that upside down again? My tokens are upside down for some odd reason.
You can flip them.
I know, it's just weird.
So, like, if you said that they're a beacon of magic, right?
Yeah, I was trying to. Right as Banner touched it.
Well, can we
Yeah,
assume
I
that you
touched
said
it.
that?
To be clear, I'm like 20 feet away from it.
Sure. The Gorgon charges forward. just lowers his head and bull rushes, quite literally. Banner, Emeraldy, and Tank all need to make a strength saving throw as it just charges forward. Yeah, Banner, you manage to kind of dive out of the way, but you're displaced 5 feet to the north as he charges past. Emeraldy, same thing, you're displaced 5 feet to the south as he charges past.
Emeraldy, as a reaction, uses his armor to hold steady.
That's fine.
Can he stop it in its tracks?
I'm going to say make an athletics check if you're going to try to do that, because this bull is literally like head down, charging right into your.
Catch it by the horns.
Well, that's the armor allows me to reduce movement by 10 feet. So if he doesn't do that,
by 10 feet, but you're still displaced 5 feet. Basically, this bull is charging down on you. You're diving out of the way, and that's the only reason why you're displaced. Either that, or you can just stand there.
You can just give him trampled.
just his ground.
He's a dwarf. He's not getting out of the way.
All right. Let's see what happens.
I hope Tank is assisting.
What's Tank doing? What's his strength save?
You're muted.
Already rolled a 24 on that athletics check. Oh yeah.
I almost got the jewels for some reason. What am I doing? I don't know
No,
why
me long enough. You're allowed to call me Jules if you want. He gets a 17. He's diving out of the way.
Yeah, he's displaced. Just 5 feet to the north.
Okay.
He's a +5 strength save.
He's got proficiency in all saves with my proficiency.
What? I want that.
So as the Gorgon charges towards you, Emeraldy, instead of jumping out of the way with your strength save, you hunker down and just like put your shield or your shoulder right behind your shield. You hear this incredibly solid boom as it smashes into you.
My shield's not equipped. I just have my maul, so maybe my maul blocked it like this and his horns.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. As you are actually pushed back against the and for the record, this other column just bursts into a bunch of debris as it smashes through. You are backed against the column behind you, and you actually use it to brace yourself as the Gorgon itself takes 6 points of damage just from the sheer impact of your refusal to be moved, which was pretty awesome. Which brings us to Dawn. What do you wish to do?
The other one has like moved, like not like as in taking its turn, but it's like showing signs of.
Yeah, they're both awake as you actually see. I will say this just for flavor. This one steps out, begins to step out of its alcove, and he kind of starts pawing at the ground, and you see this kind of poisonous-looking fumes emit from its nostrils.
Hey, you like him? These things are magic, right? Not. Oh, he's gone.
Yes, Lycum would have said. Yes.
I didn't even notice it was there. Okay, so I'm gonna reach out with my hand and concentrate and try and dispel the magic on it. The north one. I'm just gonna try and dispel it. Whatever enchantment is making it move.
Okay.
Yeah, dispelling the magic on constructs is kind of a nebulous.
That's kind of hard because it's like there's no spell that says create construct.
Right.
And
And you guys have never tried this in my game. But I've thought about it, and I think I would just have it like
this is my assumption on
it's
these
like do
constructs.
some amount of damage instead of actually destroying it or just failing completely.
This is my assumption on constructs. Is that it's fairly high level.
Yeah.
Considering the Lady Illustrio's proficiency at such things.
Yep.
What's the DC? It's DC
10 plus the spell's level. It's like a counterspell.
All right. All right. Go ahead and make your
Charisma check.
charisma check.
It's either going to be awesome or it's going to be worthless. I am going to use Tides of Chaos to give myself advantage on this.
Okay.
I am going to inspire Dawn because I have Dispel Magic and I know what she's getting ready to do.
Can you do that as a reaction?
I think you have to inspire me
I do it as an
before.
action. Yep, you're right. Sorry.
No way.
Oh, no, unfortunately, your dispel magic hits it. It kind of diminishes, like you would have noticed. It diminishes the light for a moment, but then it just kind of seems to shake itself, and in his incandescence regains its former glory.
Dawn just clicks her tongue like and backs up a few steps. That's my turn.
Yeah, based on its reaction, it was close. Not quite there. Is that your turn, Dawn?
Yeah, I'm done.
All right, Tank. What is Tank going to do?
Tank is going to take a swipe.
All right, swipe away. Yeah, it screeches across the flank of the steel flank of this creature. Claws does not seem to be doing much damage at all.
Really? Nothing?
Which is to say, no damage.
Oh, we all
Okay.
noticed that they're not really doing damage.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, this is combat.
Okay.
Basically, I'm not going to narrate. He dodges out of the way because this thing
No,
is
no, I
freaking
know.
huge.
So it looks like he should have hit, but it doesn't take damage.
Yeah, I mean, you hear this solid sounding bong, and this scraping sound, but it doesn't really seem to do any damage to the
Okay.
Gorgon.
Noted. Well, that's Tank's turn.
All right, Emeraldi, you're up. What do you wish to do?
If only I had Twin Dispel.
Emeraldi wants to do an item interaction and throw the cloak over the horns and over the eyes of the Gorgon.
All right. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, do just a general dexterity D20 with your dex mod. And see if you can get it over his head. Ow. If you do that, that's your action.
No, I don't.
Okay. All right. Yeah, you managed to twirl your cape around, fly it over this thing's head. It kind of drapes over its horns, and it just kind of backpedals a little bit as it's kind of trying to shake its head. It is essentially blinded right now.
Nice.
I think that's pretty much. Well, that's my item interaction, right? Or is that
the
my
item
my
interaction would be to take your cloak off, but it would be your action to throw the cloak.
So
It'd be
so I
the
do
same
not.
as
I've
a
used
weapon
my
attack.
action.
Yes. I'm sorry if I
Okay.
was not clear on that.
No, Emeraldi decides to kind of move 5 feet back on this side of the pillar, close to Dallas, just to step away from it.
Okay.
At least he blinded. That's pretty good.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
It's going to take a clumsy swipe with his gore as it hears you try to retreat. It manages to catch you right on your shoulder with a roll of 25 as it does 22 piercing damage.
That was what it rolled with disadvantage because it's blinded?
I'm sorry, it rolled a 22 disadvantage.
Ouch.
What's your AC, Emeraldy?
What's the damage though?
22.
No, doesn't matter, Don.
Right.
Yeah, so you take 22 piercing damage
Holy crap.
as he takes an attack of opportunity. I just wanted to make sure. Yeah, he still gets those. Okay, but at disadvantage. Alright, Bellis, Emeraldi, is that your turn?
I guess.
Alright, Bellis, you're up. What do you wish to do?
All right. Being inspired by what Dawn tried, Velos will try the same thing. I'll do
I
it.
thought- I thought you had counterspell.
Counterspell. I have them both.
Oh, you have them both?
Uh-huh.
Nice.
Oh, so you're gonna use the okay. Yeah, make your
Charisma check.
charisma check, yeah. Unfortunately, with a roll of 10, that's not going to work. Again, Lycum notices that
Oh, 4.
the light around the Gorgon seems to dim, not as much as it did when.
Well, Dawn is obviously the more powerful mage. That's
Well,
to be
now.
expected.
All right, is that your turn, Velis?
Yeah, that's all I'm gonna do. Yeah.
Beamer, did you explain why it was a charisma check? I'm just curious.
It's
Charisma is our spellcasting modifier.
Oh, okay. So for me, it would be my wisdom.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, perfect.
Now for you, be strength.
All right, Banner, the Gorgon from above is going to charge at you.
So strength save again?
Strength save again as it ends its attack with a. Oh yeah, you managed to.
Can I choose which way to dive?
Yeah,
Or no.
yeah. You can.
I'm
totally
gonna go
do that.
here.
All right. It does manage to. Nope, never mind. I think I did that wrong.
Brian's like, what have I done?
I know. Now I gotta stick to my guns. Okay. So that was that. Emeraldi, the Gorgon is going to try to gore you at disadvantage because it's trying to futilely get this stupid thing off of his head. No opposable thumbs. He rolls a 10, missing completely, smashing and pulverizing the column in front of you instead as it collapses into rubble.
Dawn eyes the ceiling warily and hopes those aren't load-bearing columns.
Oh yeah, you actually see some stone dust start to come down, and you see a small crack going.
All right, mental note, move
Lycum,
away.
you're up. What do you wish to do?
Why couldn't they have been decorative?
I'm going to cast Dispel Magic at 4th level on the nearest Gorgon to me.
Okay.
One day we'll roll above a 10 on these rolls.
Right.
When you cast a spell, use that spell 4th level.
It's like counterspell, works the same way.
All right. Yeah, you still have to do a saving or a
Wisdom check.
wisdom check.
Is it just a wisdom check?
Yep, just wisdom. You only get proficiency in these if you're an abjuration mage.
Just click on the word wisdom on your.
I'm going to use Ben Luck to give him a bonus D4 on this. +3.
Okay, which one did you target?
The one nearest the group.
You're welcome.
The one that's blinded?
Yes.
Yeah.
Probably not the best choice, but he's in my face.
You, as it, just after it smashes the column, you reach out your hand and this pink light actually slams into it and it staggers back and then it just kind of and its joints lock up. It's no longer glowing.
I intentionally make my efforts known to Lycum.
I look over and wink at her, and then that's my turn.
Beetle shouts as a free action. Awesome! I hope that lasts. It doesn't last on tank.
Oh snap.
Oh, really?
Nope. It incapacitates him for a minute.
Oh.
Well, at least we can take care of the other one first and then beat
Yep.
it. Maybe we can just beat it to death right now while it's
Okay.
suppressed.
Beetle.
I mean, it
you're
is
up.
probably you probably get like crits on it right now, so
How-
might be a good idea.
How bad does the ceiling look?
Let's just
There's
collapse the
There's
ceiling
a
on it.
small hairline crack. One of them seems to be extending from where the column was previously.
It's actively extending.
Yes, but not very quickly.
Okay. Do I feel like we're in imminent danger with the ceiling?
No, you've got time.
Okay.
You don't know how
All right.
much time, but enough.
Okay. I am going to pull out one of my magic crossbows. And I am going to... Oh, the one with the distance on it. And I'm going to shoot the guy who's not incapacitated from spell magic.
All right.
So this is my +1 max draw.
Yeah, that definitely hits as it kind of bursts through and doing exactly what a bolt is supposed to do as it punches through the armored hide of the Gorgon, doing 11 points of damage. And you get
Okay.
Julia,
What now?
does Tank's attacks count as magical?
Nope.
Oh, that might be okay. Got
Yep.
You should replace all of his claws with +1 magic daggers.
it.
I'm working on replacing them with adamantine, but it's gonna take a while. And I have to talk to Beamer
Alright,
about
is that your turn?
No. So that is Beetle's action. As a bonus action, she's going to run over here and hide behind this chair and act.
Seems legit.
And
Alright.
Bert is on my back, but he's going to stay next to me. He's currently charged with minor illusion, and he's going to, since I've heard Lady Illustrial's voice, we're gonna try it. She's gonna say, I'm gonna have him use minor illusion to make her voice say, "Stand down."
Okay.
You want a deception check or?
Probably some sort of password.
I'm gonna. I'm trying to think here. It doesn't look like it phased him.
Okay, worth a shot. And that is my turn.
Also, his eyes followed you as you ducked behind the
Even if he can't
Chair.
currently see you, there's not many other places you could be.
Yeah.
banner. You're up. What do you wish to do?
Yeah, he raises Shadow Grace, like, and takes a swing at this first one, at the one next to him,
Yeah,
for
you hit him.
16 damage. And he's gonna try and trip it too. Additional 2 damage, so 18 total right now.
Yeah, he makes his strength save,
Okay.
rolling an 18.
feel like if you trip this thing, it'd fall through the floor.
Banner makes his next attack.
All right.
Swings back around.
Yeah, that hits too. Nice.
Another 18. This isn't helping, he shouts, and makes his final attack.
Then hit it harder.
In your final attack, doesn't seem to score through its thick hide as Shadow Grace kind of slices and kind of rebounds a little bit.
Banner action surges.
Okay.
He actually, before he action surges, I'm going to try something. Banner would like to throw Shadow Grace to the ground. No, put it ground. And he wants to mount this thing, like climb up on its back and grab it by the horn, grab by the head, with his movement. Like, can I climb on it as a movement or no? I guess is the question.
Are you using an action surge to do this? Because this would be a contested athletics, and I would have to say it's an action.
Oh, okay. So it would be an action.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, this is a hostile creature. He's going to fight you every inch of the way.
Okay. In that case, then I will hold off. He just... That makes sense. That makes total sense. So Banner just stops attacking, and that's his turn, basically.
Okay. What's Cog going to do? Anything?
Cog is going to do a flyby, and I actually read the rules, and it said familiars who taking the help action to give advantage can run away, and it still counts as the help action. So, does that?
I'll read it later, but I'll allow it.
Okay. So he's going to do a flyby to give Banner advantage on his next attack, and then circle back around.
Okay.
Well, to give whoever attacks next advantage.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right, Dawn, you're up.
I'm going to take use of that advantage and shoot a firebolt at the Gorgon.
Yeah. Firebolt flies quickly through the intervening space and does what? Nothing.
Double natural one.
Oh, man.
Wow.
Just a cantrip. That's a good damage roll.
It goes. And
Does
you
a
see
wild
little
magic
dark
search
bolt.
happen on that one?
Roll and find out.
Well,
you
you don't roll.
You don't
a
really-
cantrip.
yeah, you don't
I used Tides
It
of
does.
Chaos, so on
It does.
anything you can
It
say.
does.
Okay.
And while you
I think that deserves it. I think double
Those
natural
ain't
ones
going to-
deserves it.
Oh, darn. Oh.
I can't speak for the next minute. Whenever I try, pink bubbles come out of my mouth.
Oh
that mean
no!
you can't
That's
cast
gonna
it
be
out?
real
also
bad.
means
I'm not all my spells have
with the
verbal components.
Component is.
I've this fight's in the bag already.
Do you have subtle spell?
No, I'm taking in 10th level though.
Famous last words. All right, is what's Tank?
Pink bubbles go blah 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 blah.
Tank is going to move up here and take the dodge action and just give Banner advantage.
Okay. Emeraldi, you're up. The creature in front of you looks to be dormant, as the light, the red light in its eyes and the green-like mist coming from its nostrils is no longer doing so.
Emeraldi's not really sure he should move out of the way from Lycum or Velas, because if he moves to attack the other one, they're going to have to they're going to be right in front of it to get attacked.
Well, Velas looks at you and goes, just go ahead and dismantle this one.
Okay.
Beetle yells, "Focus fire!"
So what are you going to do, Emeraldi? Alright, yeah, your first attack hits him, doing 15 bludgeoning damage. And you have advantage on these, by the way. Actually,
Doesn't it
let
crit?
me look at something.
Essentially, it's paralyzed.
Yeah, that would
Let
be
me
an
look at
auto crit.
something. Give me a moment.
I'm just trying to convince you. Sorry.
Emerald is going to use a level 1 spell slot and
Alright,
add
so
some smite.
basically, on the one that is dormant, attack rolls against it have advantage, and any attack that hits is an automatic crit. So you hit once, and that's an automatic crit. So go ahead and roll your weapon damage again.
Okay.
Well, only the dice, though, right? Not the
I'm sorry.
plus. It would only be the dice, right?
Just the dice.
Yeah,
Okay.
just the damage dice.
Emerald wanted to also add smite to it as well.
All
So
right.
roll that twice too.
So that's
Always
25
smite
damage.
on crit.
Nice, and that's 24 damage.
And that's my turn.
Yeah, you just slam into it with the holy light of Baranar as your maul comes down. You kind of make a huge dent in it as it kind of shudders. Obviously not moving, but not looking so well. Velis, you're up.
Oh, isn't the Gorg? Oh, never mind.
Gonna step to there, and I'm gonna try to dispel magic again at the other one.
All right.
Well, I can't wait until I'm higher level and I can re-roll the wild magic search ones. That's my next class feature.
I guess you don't need me to put it up on the screen again. Just
make your. Are you? What level are you doing?
Oh yeah!
Nice. Yeah, that one. Man, you're breaking my things.
Well, it took us a lot of third level spells to get it right.
That's true. As it also goes dormant, its red eyes flicker and fade. Its green mist that's coming out of his nostrils kind of wisp away and come no more.
I try and say good job, but a stream of pink bubbles float out of Dawn's mouth instead. And start filling the
You
room
hear this
slowly.
kind of bubbly.
Beetle looks up at you and she says, "That is definitely the weirdest one yet."
You see the intimidating, sometimes vicious form of Dawn shrug as pink bubbles continue out of her mouth.
Emerald calls up, great, a new nickname, Dawn Leaf Bubble.
Dawn glares at you, and a single bubble comes out, and then she pops it.
Now you guys have a choice. You can choose
Points at you.
Stop here, stop attacking, or you can continue attacking them.
We're gonna hack them to pieces.
Yeah, let's just keep hacking them to pieces.
All right.
Can we assume in the next minute that we?
Yeah, I'm
It's
going
9
to
rounds.
assume, that you managed to destroy them both. As they, through thunderous smites and smashings, you managed to basically tear them apart.
Can Emeraldy take one of their horns?
One thing, while this is happening, Beetle's going to charge Bert with mending and send him up onto the ceiling to try to buy us more time.
Okay. Yeah. At this time, the hairline fracture, which was started at the column roughly here, is now proceeded across the room towards the north. But the northern part of the room still looks safe.
Emeraldy asks, well, what about taking some of the rubble and stacking it up? And you guys got a spell to like.
We don't have that kind of time. We gotta figure out where this thing is and find the lever in her private chambers and get out of here.
Have my bubbles worn off? It's only a minute.
I definitely agree with you, Beetle. But what if that previous door and Emeraldy pulls down the hallway where he was standing? What if that's our only way exit back out of here?
No,
There's
there's
no
a
exit
lever.
that way out.
There's a lever this direction that we're going. That's what they told us.
We're not going back the way we came.
Also, that was the most bizarre sensation I've ever had in my life, and I never want to go through it again. That hasn't happened to any of you all, has it? Before? Magic? No?
And And Dawn, as you say that, you look around. You see still some bubbles kind of floating lazily through the air.
Was Andrew? Was Emeraldi?
Why is it always
barricade
me?
the door? Is that what you were saying?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
Was Emeraldi suggesting we barricade the door we came in?
No,
No,
he was
he wanted us-
suggesting that we shore up the ceiling so it doesn't collapse, so we can come back out that door.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
I think Andrew missed the part where we were told that the only way out lies ahead, basically.
I'm going to look in the fountain in the middle of the room. Is there anything precious at the bottom of it?
As you look, this is the scrying pool that Tyrion Hornblade described.
Okay.
As you look into it, the liquid in it, at first you take it for water, but then you realize it's a little thicker than water. Its
Mercury?
surface is very smooth and glass-like.
Would Lycum remember this from, or remember anything like this from his previous ability to scry on things?
Don fist bumps like him and says, "Good tag team."
I mean, yeah, you generally know how scrying works,
Yeah, I just can't do it.
right?
I can't do it yet.
Yet.
One day.
Banner kicks the construct and sighs.
Banner, the sooner we find what we're looking for, the sooner you can get up to that fight.
Sure. Yeah. He just
Um,
walks away.
So as you look around,
Do you want to do a perception check?
I mean, insight check?
Insight check.
I want to make one. I was about to go talk to him.
Lycum's definitely going to.
Anybody who wants to can. Let me see.
Beetle with the +1 to insight.
Where's my? Who's doing it? What doesn't matter. You all are basically. It's not the fact that he wants to get back up right now.
Hey, Banner, what's wrong? Don asks blazingly out into the room. You're acting bizarre.
Yeah, I just want to get back up there.
Why? What's wrong? We gathered that much. If we're going to fight effectively down here, we need to all be on the same page. These are dangerous places. If there's something wrong, it's probably the best time to share it before something else tries to spear us into.
He
We're on your side here.
thought I'd get more satisfaction out of that. And he starts walking towards the other side of the room.
I want to look at the next door.
Is there a door?
As you make a perception check.
I want to look for the next door then.
Yeah. You look around. You don't immediately see another door.
Beetle, poor Beetle today.
Do I see any other way?
She was doing real good on her perception until recently.
Do I
Emerald,
see anything else that could be a way out?
Emerald asked, what about these 2 chairs here? Are they special?
I'm just going
Don't
to
touch
continue
them. They
looking
might try
around.
to eat you.
Oh, I'm not touching them. I'm not going to sit down.
Like him, as soon as Emeraldi says that, and you look at those chairs, you notice that they're just normal chairs. And about that same time, you feel your detect magic kind of flicker and fade.
All right.
Maybe
Do we
there's a
have
trap door under one of them.
Do we have time to cast it over?
10 minutes, the ceiling is cracking.
Yeah.
I'll cast it normal.
Let's just wait until we get to the next room. Then
Dawn, as you're looking around, it's quite obvious that there's no overt signs of a door.
I look for a secret door.
However, as you are kind of walking along the walls, you do see what looks to be the very faintest signs of like a dirt trail. You know how doors, if they're they brush against the floor, they leave kind of a trail. You see that along the northern wall.
I'm going to examine the wall and start like pressing again, see if it there's like a hidden latch or something.
You tell me.
No.
You examine the wall.
Yeah.
The wall looks pretty normal. You can't
Well, I'm like
really
looking for like a
see-
hidden latch or a lever that might like, or a recessed button or
Yeah,
something.
as you're kind of running your hands alongside, you lift up the drapery or the tapestry. I mean, and behind the tapestry, at first you didn't see anything, and you turn back, and then you're like, wait, and you see like this slightly off color stone in the wall.
Huh. Beetle, there's a weird stone over here. I feel like I should press it, but I feel like I shouldn't.
I come over and
The last time I pressed a button, everyone got mad at me. So I'm not sure if I should do it again.
I'm gonna investigate the stone.
If you don't want to press this button, I have another way we could probably get through this.
Yeah,
I'm real hit or miss tonight, man.
it looks it definitely looks like some kind of actuation mechanism.
I press it.
I leap away in terror.
Can Emeraldy take a trophy from one of these carcasses?
What do you want?
Piece of
I don't know, just a piece of it. I mean, if I could get a horn, that'd be really sweet.
Sure, you rip a horn off.
Woo!
I mean, they're pretty much scrap parts right now, so I'm sure there's somewhere you can get a horn. There's 4 of them to choose.
They're like what Tank was a week ago.
Mm-hmm.
The wall slides aside, revealing another hallway.
Well, I think we should move before that room comes down on us.
As we walk into the next room, I cast Detect Magic.
Okay.
Do we wait 10 minutes for this?
Beetle
No.
is still looking for traps just in case.
I'm looking for traps too,
Yeah.
because
Make a perception check.
I'm walking next to people. I'm checking the traps. Because I found the hidden door. I finally found one. Dawn looks so pleased with herself right now. She even says, look, I found that hidden door. It's right there. I knew there was going to be one. She's going,
Yeah. You go forward about 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 feet. There's a hallway off to the left. You don't see any traps or triggers or anything suspicious. The hallway to the left. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do.
Emeraldy asks Velas, you think there's a spot we could put this horn on our airship?
Continues
we should
on.
get a really big horn and put it on the front and then ram other ships with it.
Beetle's gonna poke around and make sure
Yeah, I
there's
like
no
your idea, Dawn.
illusory doorways or entrances. Like maybe this is a false one, just to be safe.
Do you say that you're doing that? If you do, I'll look for it too.
Yeah,
Like to the
Okay.
north.
yeah.
As I walk along the hallway, I'm just going to drag my hand on the left wall so that if there is an illusion, my hand will go through it.
Yeah. As you poke around, it all seems real to you.
Okay. I'm gonna search for secret doors in here just to see,
All right.
and I'm gonna have Cog look too.
I'm going to help her.
All right. Make a perception check.
Oh,
You feel
Cog is on
confident that
fire
it's
today.
just the end of the hallway.
Hmm?
It's just
How
the
far
end of the
down does this hallway
There's-
go?
okay.
I mean, that's it. That's
Oh, that's it?
Yep. And then there's another hallway that branches off to the right.
Maybe they were going to build more and then ran out of time.
All right, I'm gonna send Cog down here to take a look for me first.
All right.
Dawn taps her foot
Continue
impatiently.
along with the perception checks. At that point, right there, Cog notices
The lich.
another hallway.
Okay. Does this one just stop?
And nope. There's a door at the end.
Okay.
I just forgot to
Does
put it
he
there.
see anything suspicious down this hallway?
No. Well, I'll just use that one. No.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna follow him.
More accurately, not yet.
Um,
I'll follow too.
Are you guys good to go for a little while longer?
Oh yeah.
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 Do we need to use tokens right now, or can we just assume we're all in the hall?
You don't have to use tokens.
Okay.
I would rather you not. Let's put
Okay.
it that way.
Cool. I'd
Is-
prefer it that way too.
The only time I like to use tokens is when we're actually in combat.
Okay. Cool.
Is there like a keyhole in this door that I could peer through?
Sure.
All right. What do I see?
Okay.
On the other
Keyholes don't
side,
give a good field
you
of view.
see what looks to be a very well-appointed study with a table, chairs, a desk, a very nice chair, and you see along the far wall of this very large chamber, very high bookshelves.
Beetle says, I really want to go in this one. This is the real study. I think that's just her bedroom. Although that's the way out. He said it was in her bedroom.
Well, what we're looking for is probably in this room too. Then.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
what do you do?
I am going to check the door to the study for traps, and I'm also going to ask Lycum to go ahead and cast Detect Magic in, because I think we're going to need it in here.
Already did.
Yep.
Oh, I did? Great. Lycum, come up here.
In fact, he would be able to see magic coming through the wood of the door if there's magical stuff in there.
Okay. Make another perception check.
So many perception.
Every
checks.
time you check for traps, essentially, it's a new check. I know it sucks, but yeah, this one has never been trapped and never been locked. All right.
Does Lycum see magical auras coming through?
Nope. No magic.
All right. Then I'm going to go ahead and just open the door.
It's probably disguised in some nefarious way.
All right. Okay. Let me see here. So you notice aisles of books, some very nice carpet, some parchment, an inkwell and a quill on the table, some scattered notes and a journal on the desk. Beetle, are you the only one going in, or are you all going in?
Well, I'm going in.
I'm going in right behind Beetle.
No, I'm following.
All right. Lycum, as you step in, you are looking at everything in the room, and you notice that all of the shelves are faintly glowing with evocation magic. The torches are red, are the red flame. And they are glowing with transmutation magic, which is nothing out of the ordinary for these kind of torches. You suspect like the transmutation magic is to make it change colors based on something, the status alert or the alert status of the complex or whatever. What do you do? Oh,
I
you
just
do
let them
see,
know that.
sorry, one more thing. You do see a hallway leading to the south. There's two hallways that's leading to the south. One is about 10 feet wide, which is right about here. And another much narrower hallway leading to the south, right here. It's about 5 feet in width. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
I'll let them know that.
What do you do?
Man, these bookshelves are rigged to blow too. Why does everyone do this? Beetle is going to check the floor ahead for traps and pressure plates.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah. You don't see... Make an Arcana check.
Okay.
You're proficient in Arcana, right?
Yep.
Yeah, go ahead and make an Arcana check. You don't see any of the traditional traps and triggers. You do see several things, though, that is perhaps a little bit more deadly in the arcane sense.
Okay.
The first thing you see is quite obviously runes that are etched in every face of every bookshelf, painstakingly painstakingly done.
Okay.
You also see faint traces of residium all throughout the chamber. The second thing you notice is on the floor. You didn't notice this before, but after a few moments that you stepped in, a circle of runes started to faintly glow.
Can I recognize what kind of runes these are?
These are summoning runes, essentially.
Oh, jeez. And they're starting to light up?
They're not like bright, but they've just kind of, it's almost like they're idling. They're at a
Okay.
dull glow.
All right, I share this information with the group and say, I think this room is rigged to summon something if people are in here who aren't supposed to be in here.
Well, we could preemptively dispel them.
Do you guys still have juice left to do that?
I
Yeah.
nominate Velas.
I
had to
I'll
deal
tell
with
you
the
what.
pink bubbles.
I'll tell you what. Thorn, what's his face, said that he thought the lever to escape was in her bedroom. Why don't we find that first in case we need to leave in a hurry?
Why
I'm
don't
gonna
we,
walk into her bedroom.
don't we need to find the thing that is hidden here too?
Yeah,
The main reason
but
we
we
came,
need
what-
both. We need
Well,
the
What
need
if her pet is the protector of it and it's with the pet?
That's a good point.
If
The
you're
thing
she's
that
going
could
to
be
summon
summoned.
the thing that could be summoned, if we decide to dispel its summoning, what if the pet has the object? If I was to put something,
Or maybe the summoning just summons the object if we do the right thing.
That's true.
So we'll hold off on that idea for now.
Yeah.
When you're telling me about it, I go, you tell me about all the runes etched other places.
Oh yeah.
I go, well, is there anything on a desk?
I'm afraid to go. Oh, Cog. Go fly in and look at the desk, and I will look through your eyes.
What do your owl eyes see?
Cog,
I have him hover over the desk, and I look down through his
I
eyes.
don't know if owls can hover,
well,
but
he can't hover, but he can certainly
Yeah.
alight on
Swoop.
the desk and take a look.
Yeah.
she's not a hummingbird.
You see a lot of notes, and some of them are very, very complex. Far beyond. It's like one of those things you're like, huh? No, what? What? That's so. I don't understand. It was kind of one of those things. Very complex drawings. You see, like the glance that you had before of the orrery that Taryn had in his book, you see a much more complex and much more complete drawing of this orrery, complete with various like a lattice work of crystals. And you see something about a strange plane, and she says, plane of, and then she's got a big old question mark. Like, what is this? You also see the journal. I'm
Okay.
sorry, I had to look at something real quick before I went on. In the journal, you see a mention of this project that she was planning on undertaking to create this special orrery. And it seems like she was trying to create it to create some kind of portal or something that she had accidentally discovered. But she did not know what this portal was, or this plane was. In other notes, she mentions using the summoning circles. She mentions using. You see mention of the gate spell several times. You see mention of other things. One thing that was interesting was some kind of shackles that she was looking for. You weren't really sure what she was talking about. But as you continue on, she then makes mention in some of her notes about safeguards for the summoning circle, and indeed that there were for this one, this was her primary summoning circle, in that she had to find a way to keep some arcane power in it, but not that it would randomly activate. And that's all that you really read about it.
Am I able to extrapolate whether it's safe for us to walk in here based on that? Like, do I think that the runes are lighting up or just her safeguards, maybe?
These particular runes seem safe based on what all you're reading.
Okay, so I think it's safe to walk in.
Yeah, well, walk. You can walk on the summoning circle without, like,
Okay. I'm gonna have
your soul removed
Cog
or something.
gather up the journal and those notes and just bring them to me, because I don't want to go in here until we've found the exit in the bedroom.
Okay. Yeah, he's able to kind of, with a little bit of labor and a fair amount of caution, grab the notes.
Okay.
In the journal.
Okay. Then I'm going to call him back, and for now, we're gonna go check out the bedroom, which I think Dawn is about to walk into.
Okay. Dawn, back in the bedroom. The bedroom is well appointed. It looks like it's got a very comfortable desk. There seems to be a small vanity there, dresser. I'm sorry, not a desk, but a table. Round table. You gather that basically these were the secret areas that she wasn't particularly worried about, hiding things. So the switch is fairly easy to see along the west wall.
Okay. I find the switch, and I'm then going to look behind the mirror on the vanity to see if there's like a safe or something.
All right. Yeah, you look behind there. It's just a wall.
I look into the mirror in case it's magical.
You see yourself.
What's this?
I poke the mirror.
Can we go in that type of room?
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, Beetle walks in.
Okay, I quickly go through every drawer.
You see some jewelry. You see a very fine amulet with it on the back. It was inscribed "with love from Taryn Hornblade." You rifle through the dresser. You see some very fine looking robes. None of them which look like anything special. They're just beautiful robes and dresses and and you see this kind of netting that a woman would wear on her hair. Ladylike fashions is basically what you see, and other things. The dainties.
Oh, a new outfit.
I was thinking about it, but it feels like it would be in bad taste to steal her clothes.
Do you think?
I am then going to step away from the vanity, and I'm going to begin pulling up the rug to see if there's a hidden trapdoor under it.
You pull up the rug. It's just a stone floor.
I look under the bed.
It seems a little dusty.
What's this thing?
I reach my arm and just start like
It's
feeling
a
around in
vanity.
case there's an illusion. There has to be something secret in here. I can feel it.
You find nothing.
You guys seem to
It's
like
just
roll
a
around on the
normal
ground.
bedroom.
Beetle,
it
please
seems.
tell me there's something we can do now. Dawn's about to blow a hole in the wall, I think.
We can
What's
pull the
this
lever to
thing?
leave.
No, we gotta find the thing
It's
first.
a vanity.
Oh, that's the vanity?
Yeah.
Oh, so this is a dresser. Okay, I see.
Yes.
And this table, does it have any more notes or anything interesting?
No. It just has Actually, you see some playing cards, as if two people were playing.
Oh. I leave them there.
Where's the switch again?
Dawn is mildly
It's
disappointed.
along the west wall.
Yeah.
Of the
Okay,
bedroom.
so Beale's going to go ahead and say, all right, we've sacked the room. There's no more in there.
Well, I guess we
so,
gotta find it in the other room then.
yeah. I think it's safe to walk in here. Don't touch the bookshelves.
All right.
I think they're rigged to blow, basically. Unless we find a way to... I would really like if we could find a way to get them not to do that, because I would like to look at the books.
Well, we could
See
just
if I-
dispel it if we wanted to use the mana for it.
Well, let's do that as a last resort.
Okay.
Maybe we
By
can
we,
find a
I
way to
mean
turn off the defenses.
Velas.
I'm gonna go over to the desk and look in the drawers and see if there's anything that I didn't see through Cog's eyes in there.
Banner peeks down the southeast hallway.
You actually see a couple of blank journals, and some more writing. Some more quills and some more inkwells. That's about it.
Okay. On the off chance that there might be invisible writing in here, I take them.
Okay.
Do I see anything else magical in here that might catch our eyes other than what we've already
no,
seen?
not other than what I've described.
Okay, perfect.
Banner checks out the southeast hallway.
Okay, this one.
Yeah, he looks at it. He goes to where the I guess the precipice of it and looks down it.
Yeah, it sharply turns to the east.
Okay.
Is there anything important or useful or interesting on this table?
Not really. There was some additional notes that had to do with the principles of summoning and making sure that the runes were etched right and inlaid perfectly and sufficiently with enough residium before each casting. You check, make sure, blah blah blah, and it kind of
Okay.
goes on.
I just take them and put them with the other notes. Maybe they'll be important to whoever's going to make sense of her work later.
Okay.
Velas pulls out his journal and makes a sketch of that summoning circle.
All right. So you take about 5 minutes to do so.
And then Beetle will look down this hallway.
I'm going to try and resist the temptation to touch something.
Emerald wants to look around the room and do some religion checks because oftentimes a lot of there's some lore about wizards that come to a faith in the goddess of magic too.
When I see Emerald looking at the bookshelves, I'm like, do not touch.
Go ahead.
No,
and make
just
your religion
looking,
check.
just looking.
Brian, didn't you say there was a hallway leading from this room?
Yeah.
We
There's
just looked
two.
at both of them, actually. We're waiting to see what they do.
Yep.
And you would recall that you guys had learned that she was the chosen of Mystra,
Hmm.
which is basically like her chosen disciple or something.
Can Emeraldy do a religion check in this library here, and maybe also her room, just see if there's any religious items?
Yeah, make your check.
I think we should check out the hallways.
Ryan.
Yeah. So you notice. Hold on. Emeraldy, you do notice that one of the central runes on the, and that's not the actual runes, by the way, that's just a representation on the map. But one of the central runes on the floor is the sigil of Mistra.
Sigil.
Emeraldy tells Velis about that, so he can put it in his note.
All right, Beatle, what did you want?
Banner and I are trying to get a look down these hallways and see what we see.
Yeah. Okay. So the southwest hallway basically ends in a wall. Though based on your own spatial recognition, Beetle, because you've been down around the block a time or two, so to speak, you think this would lead back to where you fought the mimic.
Okay.
I tell Beetle that the other one turned out of the room.
Yep. That'll be something that hopefully that's where the thing is.
Yeah.
I will call everyone over. And I will start looking for traps and hazards. And I will ask Lycum to come up behind me so he can still see magic.
Yep. I'll follow.
All right. Give me your check.
Okay. And then I'm gonna have Cog looking out for us too. He gets a 22.
Yeah. You follow the hallway around the corner and through the and you actually come to an intersection. As you look off to the east, you see none other than the privy. The hallway continues to the south before it turns again to the east, and then there's the hallway to the west that ends in a solid-looking steel door.
Okay.
Hey, could you guys wait for just one moment?
Sure.
I walk into the privy and close the door.
Yeah.
There's never a convenient place for this in these sorts of places. Her
That
voice emanates out.
That is true.
30 seconds later, she leaves.
That's funny. That's funny.
You use those things? All right.
Welcome.
Not all of us just go
Some
pee
of
in the
us are more
corner
civilized.
and lift a leg.
All right. So which direction are you going to go in?
I want to take. This is, you said the west hallway here ends in a very solid steel door.
Before I leave the privy, I do one check to make sure all the walls are real and not illusory. Because if I would hide a secret chest or something, I would do it in the toilet room where no one would think to look.
Oh, you are obsessed. Yeah, you find nothing out of the ordinary. Wow. Okay.
Does Lycum see any magic?
He sees no magic.
All right. I am going to check this iron door for traps and hazards.
Okay. Actually, you don't need to make a check, because we're running a little late, so you don't find anything that seems trappy or hazardy.
Is it locked?
No.
I'm going to open it.
Okay. Give me a second here to do the thing.
Who knew toilet humor would make its way into this dungeon crawl?
Yeah.
It was a good addition.
That looks
Looks
like
like
an
an
important
You never
thing.
see them. I'm like, why don't you ever see
wow.
toilets?
Okay.
Okay.
Most dungeons are people's residence.
As you open the door, you see that the floor is a smooth gray stone, In the center of the room, you see a circle of runes surrounding a pedestal upon which rests an orb glowing an angry red. Mirrored in the orb, you can quite clearly see the city of Silverymoon, with smoke rising from various places, and the arcane vortex swirling high over the high palace, blocking any and all entrance. In a square around the circle of runes is edged a groove in the floor that emits a soft blue light. On each corner of the square stands a lifelike statue facing the orb. The groove ends at 4 other nodes in each of the cardinal directions, north, south, east, and west. A magic mouth, sensing your presence, appears to hover over the orb. "Be warned," a woman's voice says. "You are not welcome here. Turn back now. This is your last warning."
I say out loud, I wish we could, but your city's in danger and you're not here to protect it anymore.
What do you do?
I'm walking in.
I'm walking into.
I am looking, and can I do an Arcana check to see if I can understand these ley lines that are drawn in here?
Yeah.
I'll assist.
I will say this. This particular Arcana check is going to be high.
Okay. Velis is helping me?
Do you want... Yes, I will be helping you. And
I'm going to bend luck to make it 25.
All right. Which is lucky that you did that.
I had a feeling.
You...
Once again, you're welcome.
The DC was 25. Okay.
Intuition.
As you are looking around, it's not readily apparent what this is, though it's clear to see that it is defensive in nature. You also know, based on your meager abilities compared to that of Illustrials, that you do not have the wherewithal to be able to disable it.
Okay.
As you look around, you recognize the runes. They are also summoning runes, and they are very bright, and they are red.
Okay.
Guys, I have an idea.
Well, share soon, because something's about to come through these runes in this circle.
All right. Well, I think you all, except maybe one person, should go back to the bedroom. I can grab the orb and then teleport to the room, and then we can pull the lever right away and be gone before whatever happens here comes through and tries to kill us.
I actually like that idea.
I'm staying with you just in case, because you can take us both back, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That shouldn't be a problem.
All right. As you are talking, you do notice there's seems to be some arcane bolts of energy starting to from the orb as it stands on its pedestal.
if we're all on board with that idea, I say go ahead and do it, and we'll start making for that room right now.
All right, run.
Run. Go.
I'm going to count to 15.
All right. So
1,
the rest of
2.
you. So to be clear, the rest of you, all but Beetle and Dawn,
Yep.
is going.
I sent
to
all
the
my
bedroom.
pets with them too.
Yep. Tank,
I'm
clomp through the narrow
Start
hole.
running
I
back.
shove Bert into the cubby that Tank has, because he's going to go inactive when he gets away from me.
All right.
Yeah.
Let me look at something real quick, guys.
How
So
much
you're-
damage does this trap do to Dawn?
I'm gonna. Banner takes off, but he peeks around this corner to watch them grab the orb.
Oh, you gotta go, dude.
You gotta go because we're pulling the lever.
You gotta
right
go,
away
because
before-
we're gonna teleport back, and then we're all out of here if this works.
All right. So
I'm just saying he pauses as you guys run towards. That's all I'm saying.
all right.
And then
Okay.
he goes off. Unless are you? You said you're counting to 15, right?
Yeah, I'm counting out loud. I'm at 8,
Okay. Yeah.
9. It's
If
not
I
that
see you
far.
slow, I'm like, go!
11,
I misunderstood how it was working.
12.
That's fine. He goes.
So are these beams of energy like physical? Like, can I see them?
They're like, you know, the little Tesla globes you can get with the
Okay.
and yeah, it's like that, but it's
But it's not like a wall.
emitting. No, it's just emitting off of the orb. They're like angry red little arcane.
Okay, now not the calm blue in the picture. They're angry red.
No.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's more ominous.
and,
I'm also going to cast a level 2 Cure Wounds and just hold it in case that thing blasts one of us, so that I could just tag.
You can hold your action definitely. As 15 seconds pass, Dawn, what do you do?
I am going
on to Dawn.
I'm going to crouch and I'm going to see if I'm going to first extend my hand under the Tesla-like bolt of energy to see if it'll like arc down. And actually, no, fuck that. I'm just going to roll under
It
it.
does kind of lick your hand, but it doesn't hurt.
Okay, I kind of roll under it, crouch, so I don't like walk through it.
And even though it doesn't hurt, you begin to hear a grinding as all.
I grab the orb. I just reach out and yank it.
And I'm holding on to Dawn.
And as soon as I have it in my hands, I dimension door.
Okay.
With me.
With Beetle. Well, you're touching me, so yes.
Yeah.
Which is good because all of the statues spring to life as huge Tanaruk demons surge forward and slash moments, just mere seconds after you and you grab a hold of Beetle, you fly through
The orb like a
dimension
football
door,
under my arm.
and you actually hear through your dimension door the thud of 4 huge swords slamming down. The entire complex shakes. You find yourself
here. I say, so I guess we're leaving the books.
back in the bedroom.
We'll have to come back for them later. Go.
Yep.
Surprise.
Pull the
They'll owe
lever,
us some favors.
I pull the lever.
and the entire room illuminates in this massive teleportation circle. As
hope it's not a
the
countdown.
carpets burn away, and you are immediately teleported. And that's where we're going to stop for today.
No, that was such a good idea.
That concludes this episode of our Forgotten Realms D&D campaign with Protectors. If you have enjoyed this or the other episodes, please remember to hit the like button and subscribe to this channel if you want to see more. You can also watch us live on Twitch TV whenever we do broadcast, typically every other Saturday. The schedule is in our channel. Feel free to click on the link down below in the video description for more information. Until next time, have a great day.